Good morning. We'll let a few more folks join in here. Good morning. Good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. We've got some storms to talk about this morning. I'll close some of these doors behind me real quick. Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. We're going to let a few more folks stream in here before I get into this. Obviously, you can see I've got the radar up across portions of Illinois, Indiana, northern Kentucky, western Ohio. We've got a tornado watch in place and really just pretty scattered along and south of I-70 in Indiana, but this line of storms that continues to move to the east. I will note off the bat, as far as the tornadic risk is concerned, there is that risk of tornadoes this morning, and we're looking at the Clarity platform, the current radar. I do think it's the wind gusts that are going to be the main issue this morning. But there is a little bit of spin in the atmosphere, and I think especially this line we see off to the west into Illinois as it moves to the east, that's going to be the main concern for the tornadic potential. You have some embedded rotation within that. In fact, there was a tornado warning just east of St. Louis this morning for one of those embedded areas of rotation. So in my opinion, that's what we'll need to watch. We'll be closely analyzing the storms that are flaring up out ahead as well. In addition to, there's obviously going to be the damaging wind threat, the isolated tornado threat. It could even be some isolated large hail as well. One thing I don't want us to sleep on is the potential for flash flooding. In fact, on the Clarity platform, I can bring up the observed totals over the past 7 days, and you can see some of these amounts. Pretty prolific amounts, especially south of I-70 over the last 7 days. And so it's not going to take much rain to cause flash flooding. I know for some of us, especially just because that's where I live in southern Indiana, I know that was a big deal with some of the past heavy rains, and it just won't take much to cause some additional flooding into the area. So let me go back to the current radar for us. Again, there are no tornado warnings ongoing at this point in time, but we do have a tornado watch into southeastern Illinois, into much of central southern Indiana, and far western Ohio ongoing right now. So if you're in the tornado watch, we have a threat for the tornadoes this morning. So if we take a look, and I want to get into at least some of the analysis, and obviously as any tornado warnings start to get going, we'll kind of start to zoom in on that threat as well as we go about this morning. But we take a look at the atmosphere out ahead of these storms, and what I'm showing us, this is something called meso-analysis. Anyone can view this on the Storm Prediction Center page, and we're looking at the wind profiles out ahead of that line into Illinois. Notice that the wind profiles kind of hook around like this. So we've got some winds changing with speed and direction with height out ahead of these storms, and that just signifies that we have a little bit of twisting and rotation in the atmosphere out ahead of this. Now, again, I still am in the camp. It's not very common to get a robust tornado threat into the morning. Okay, so I still think the tornadic risk is more of that, something that's more isolated versus widespread. But I'll be here more or less quarterbacking this risk as we head throughout the morning hours of today, just to keep us informed. And I'll try to get some questions as I go along here, but there's a lot of you in here, and so I'll do my best to get to some of these, but there's no way I can get to everybody's question. If you do have a question for your area, just let me know where you're at. Obviously, I don't know for sure where everyone's located, so please let me know in regards to that. Do have the team. My team here is working on a new timer, and I'll show that after they're done. But if we just take a look at the future radar, I'm going to use this RRFS model product just to give us an idea. And this is on Synoptic. This is free for people to use. synopticwx.com. Really awesome modeling website. But as I bring things out over the next couple hours, you could see this area of storms moving from west to east. And it is that area of storms in Illinois that I'm most concerned about, the more the line for the rotation embedded within it. But we'll be watching closely any of the scattered storms out ahead. You can see through about 8 to about 10 a.m., it moves through Indiana. And at this point, it's more focused into western Ohio at this point. And then this threat shifts off to the east. Now, in addition to this morning, the ongoing tornado watch, this would kind of cover that threat. There is a threat for additional storms heading into the afternoon. This is towards 12 p.m. heading into the afternoon, especially southern Indiana and the Ohio River, southern Ohio for some additional strong to severe storms. Again, an isolated tornado is going to be possible in far southern Indiana this afternoon, but I think it's more of a wind gust and hail threat once again. So not the most robust this afternoon for tornadic threat, and really not a crazy tornado threat this morning, but still needs to be closely monitored this morning as far as that is concerned. Chat with my team here real quick. Give me just a moment here, guys. I need to send something. We do have a tornado warning real quick. Give me just a moment, guys. Okay. We do finally have a tornado warning. This is just south of Champaign, just east of Effingham towards Newton, Illinois. I'm going to actually bring up another program. I want to look at some of the rotation with this storm for us. And this is probably what we're going to see, right? This line of storms as it continues to move off to the east, some embedded pockets of rotation within this. And so I'm going to bring this particular radar into the screen for us. And I want to show us, and we're going to look together at the rotation on this particular cell. So let's take a look. What I'm going to look at here is the storm relative velocity. And then we're going to look at the velocity product as well. And really, when we're looking at the velocity products on the radar, we're looking at where the green and the red are right next to each other. That's signifying opposing wind directions in the radar. And I mentioned that the profile out ahead of these storms do suggest we can have some of that rotation. It does look like some weak rotation within this. I would not say it's clear cut as something that would be a definitive tornado. Looks like some radar indicated rotation embedded within this. In addition to that, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning with this as well. What's that, Hope? Sorry, I'm talking to my team. You may hear me yell at my team from time to time. We do have a severe thunderstorm with this as well for some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail in addition. So we've got some nasty storms heading to the east. Again, watching this storm to the east or to the west into southeastern Illinois, approaching moonshine, some radar indicator rotation. I don't think we're talking about anything confirmed at this moment in time. You can even see, looking at the radar, it looks like what may be a little bit what's called an inflow notch, kind of another signal that we would look at for potential storms. I believe the timing we're getting of this is about 47 miles per hour. And as my team gets an updated timer graphic, I will show this. I will show that for everyone as well as they get that updated. But in general, about 47 miles per hour, kind of west to east. And so you could see in about an hour, so at about 8 a.m. this morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, this would be 7 a.m. Central, this line of storms starting to shift just east of Terre Haute. If I bring this out another kind of 47 miles to about 94 miles, this would be getting closer towards about 9 a.m., just approaching the Indianapolis area for some of these storms as well near Bloomington to give us a general sense of timing with some of these storms. So just watching this again, the tornado threat is not overly robust. The rotation, even in that storm east of Effingham, does not look what I would say super definitive. But there is some weak rotation, at least within that. We need to watch it. The Storm Prediction Center does have the National Weather Service does have a tornado warning on that. So if you're east of Effingham, please seek shelter if you're in that tornado warning. What I do suspect with some of these storms as we progress throughout the morning is I don't think these are going to be long track tornadoes. In fact, I don't think these will be particularly strong tornadoes. I don't think we're talking about EF3 plus or anything like that. And I don't think these tornadoes are going to have a long lifespan. So we'll probably see this tornado warning and then it'll go away. And then there could be another part of the line that has an embedded tornado warning within it. And then it'll go away versus something that just tracks through Illinois in the entirety, sweeping across Indiana, Ohio. I don't think it's one of those situations. It's pretty rare to get a situation in a line where a tornado just continues to truck along for miles and miles and miles. So I don't think this is one of those cases at all. You'll notice as well further to the south towards Evansville, we do have some severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing in some of these spots as well for some strong storms, which are starting to get going here as well. And I do think primarily the wind gusts will be the primary concern with any of these storms today, followed by hail and the tornado risk as well. Okay. Mary, as far as Bloomington, Indiana, it looks like your husband's sleeping in about 2 hours, I would say, closer to about around 8:39. Again, the risk, got to watch the risk for tornadoes there. But I do think it's primarily wind and hail that'll be the main issue with some of these storms. So let's take a look back here at this Effingham storm. Again, if I zoom in real close, Rose Hill, Hidalgo, Yale, Hunt City, Newton, in this tornado warning, we're going to look back at this velocity for us. Again, the rotation does not look super definitive. Let's see if we can go to another velocity product. And again, when I'm looking at this velocity on the radar, what I'm looking at, what I'm focusing on is where the greens and the reds butt up against each other in a little ball. That's where we're most concerned about any type of rotation that may be occurring. In fact, I would not be shocked, just given what I see here, if they may end up dropping this. So we'll be watching that closely. Do have a new timer graphic. I'm going to show us the timer for this graphic upcoming to give everybody a good sense of the timing of this line of storms, which will be, in my opinion, the primary risk for any type of tornadic threat that moves in. Again, this line embedded within rotation. We'll be watching closely any of the storms out ahead because the ingredients are there for the twisting nature of the atmosphere. But let me show us this graphic. I'm going to move this radar off the screen for us real quick. And you can see, again, I've got the clarity radar up with this, but let me bring this up for us. And if you are clients on Clarity, this is something you'll have available. We do timing graphics like this all the time. We've had several timing graphics out this morning, customized videos, etc. out this morning. But here is the timer for this line of storms. Again, 8 a.m. you can see moving primarily into western Indiana at this point. 9 a.m. near Indianapolis, near Bloomington. As we get towards 10 a.m., closer towards areas like Greensburg, and then towards 11 a.m. towards the Cincinnati, Dayton areas. And again, this line of storms right here, this is going to be the primary concern for any type of rotation in some of these storms. We'll be watching some of the scattered storms that form out ahead, but so far unimpressed with any of that activity. So this is going to be the main area of focus for that tornadic potential for the storming with that line. Now, in addition to the tornadoes, damaging winds, 60 miles per hour. Can't rule out some isolated instances of some large hail to near about 1/4 of an inch. That's typically the criteria for severe warned hail, 1/4 of an inch type of hail. So we'll be watching all this closely. In addition, flash flooding is going to be a concern, especially with how much rain these areas that these storms are moving into have had over the last 7 days. That's also going to be an issue. It's just not going to take much for these storms to produce. So we'll be watching closely. Am I anticipating a robust, severe tornado outbreak this morning? No, I'm not. I want to be very clear about that. But embedded tornadoes will be possible, yes. Damaging winds, just in my opinion, are going to be likely out ahead of this. So some severe storms are just going to be likely with this, regardless of the tornado threat. Okay. On all versions of Clarity. Yep. Nowcast. Lebanon, to be honest, if you're kind of north, if you're with some of these storms, I'm going to go back to the Clarity radar. I'm trying to get to some of these questions. To be honest, it's probably these storms near I-70 and south with the most robust threat. We'll be watching to see if we can get any embedded rotation on this area's storms off to the east. You can see my laptop's about ready to die here real quick. I'm going to have somebody grab my charger real quick. But right now, I think Lebanon, given the fact, Lebanon, that you're already kind of experiencing some of the storms right now, I think the tornadic threat is very low. Okay. Will they get worse when the sun comes out for Brownsburg? They may intensify a little bit. We get some daytime heating out ahead. That could help a little bit. But regardless, it's kind of, these are going to pack a punch regardless of the sun coming out or not. And so we'll just need to watch that threat. I'm going to try to get to these questions as I can, guys. There's a lot of them coming in. Thank you. See if I can plug in my laptop so we can continue the stream. Okay. There we go. What about Southeast Indianapolis? Again, I'm going to go back to this timer we made about 9 a.m. Can't rule out an embedded area of rotation, especially with this line that moves to the east. Again, we'll be watching closely any of the scattered storms out ahead, but right now I am not impressed in terms of the any type of rotation with some of the scattered storms that are forming out ahead. We're on Fishers, praying this isn't too intense. Yeah, you could definitely, for Fishers, get some stronger storms. You can almost see as I zoom out, look at where these severe warnings are. They're basically kind of just south of this line right here. So it points to the south, and this will probably be the main focus for strong and severe storms. But some of these storms further to the north, I think, could pack a punch. We'll be watching closely for any type of rotation embedded within this line north of I-70 into Indiana. Again, we do have this tornado warning in effect by Newton, Hidalgo, Hunt City, and Illinois. If you're out ahead of that, just wouldn't play any games, seek shelter to be safe if you're located in that area. What is the tornado threat for the storms ahead of the main line? I would say at this point, given what I see, low. If there's a better tornadic threat, it's probably with these storms along the Ohio River, just because of how intense they are currently. So we'll be watching closely. Very welcome, April. I'm going to bring back up the other radar product because I want to look together with everyone the rotation in some of these storms, and you can see what I'm talking about for some of the storms out ahead. And that tornado warning stormed right here east of Effingham. So I'm going to bring this product back into the screen for us. And you can see, again, when we're looking at these velocity products, right, and we're trying to assess any type of rotation that may be in a storm. And you can see there's some rotation with this. Again, I don't see anything as far as being a confirmed tornado in that area. That doesn't mean you don't seek shelter if you're in that tornado warning. But when we have the greens butted up against the reds, that's opposing wind directions. If you think about a tornado, on one side it's moving one direction, on the other side it's moving another direction, and so it signifies rotation. But if we take a look at some of these storms, for instance, towards Evansville, we don't see that clear ball of red and ball of green right next to each other, signifying some rotation. Now, there can be some broad rotation, some weak rotation within these, but right now I don't see anything yet that's screaming the alarm bells, so to speak, with some of these storms along the Ohio River right now. Again, what I suspect is going to be the main tornadic threat, which I don't anticipate to be overly robust. I don't anticipate long-tracked, long-lived tornadoes with this. Is going to be along this leading edge, along some of these storms that we are seeing approaching the Illinois-Indiana border. Again, I'm going to move this off the screen for us. Again, you can still see that tornado-warned cell just east of Effingham towards Hidalgo. Outside of that, we do have plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings for some wind gusts to near 60 miles per hour and some hail of 1/4 of an inch. But if we take a look at the timing, again, this is something you get access to in the Clarity application. You can see the timing of that main area of storms. Now, this is not the most complete exact time of when you'll see storms, because we've got scattered storms out ahead, which will be likely. They're scattered about. But you see 8 a.m. towards western Indiana, 9 a.m. Indianapolis, towards Bloomington, 10 a.m. closer towards Greensburg, Indiana, past Muncie, towards Richmond, and then 11 a.m. towards the Cincinnati, Independence, Dayton areas as we get late into the morning. And it'll be this line of storms that'll be the primary risk for the primary risk for any of the tornadic potential that we can see this morning. For some of you folks further to the north, I've seen quite a bit of questions for kind of north of I-70 into Indiana, and we'll be watching these storms closely. One, there's not a single severe storm embedded within these. The better environment is generally along and south of I-70 in Indiana, clearly into eastern Illinois ongoing right now. I think the tornadic risk is low. We'll be watching closely these storms north of I-70 for any rotation, because the atmosphere does have some rotation, but I just imagine that risk is rather weak north of I-70, north of this graphic, essentially. I'm going to go back to this graphic. The risk is very low in those spots. Non-zero, I suppose, but call me, I guess, optimistic that we probably avoid the tornadic risk in some of those areas. Again, I'm going to go back to the radar, and you can see the spin, the tornado warning by Newton, Illinois this morning. Got these storms moving about 47 miles per hour from west to east. We got additional scattered storms along the Ohio River this morning. Again, the wind gusts are going to be the primary threat. The large hail, I think the tornado threat is on the lower end, but certainly possible. We see one tornado warning right now, and then the flash flooding is going to be an issue for about all of us as well. I'm going to get to some questions. Again, a lot of us are asking about this as well. Time frame for Mooresville in the tornado threat. Again, tornado threat on a scale 1 to 5 is probably about 1 to 2 this morning. It's low, but certainly there. I showed this to start my stream, but I'm going to show this again. We're looking at something called mesoanalysis. This is something anyone can get on the Storm Prediction Center webpage. And what we're looking at is the wind profiles with height. So the pinks kind of lower in the atmosphere, reds up in the atmosphere. And what we notice as far as the environment out ahead is we have rotational. So winds are changing direction with height and speed with height. And so that's typically a recipe that we have for twisting in the atmosphere out ahead of these storms that can produce a tornado. So we'll continue to watch that as well. As far as instability is concerned, there is some instability. Keep in mind it's in the morning, so it's not overly robust. If we were to get something like this, say in the middle part of the afternoon, certainly that would be more of a robust tornado risk. But given the fact that it is in the morning, that should help kind of limit the overall as far as widespread coverage of this tornado as well. So I'm going to bring back in this other radar product for us. Again, what I'm going to be doing in this live stream quite a bit is looking at the rotation in some of these storms very closely to see if I can pick up on any rotation before it even becomes tornado warned in the area. So let's take a look at the latest for us real quick. And we're again, what I'm looking for on this is where the greens are butting up against the reds. Again, that's going to signify rotation in some of these storms. In fact, I would argue that this tornado warning storm that we do see near Hidalgo, Illinois, has lost a little bit of that rotational structure it did once have. There's a couple of different ways to look at velocity on a radar product. It does not look overly robust. Just based off the velocity, I would think they probably don't extend this tornado warning further to the north and to the east. And I do think that's going to be common in this line of storms as it does move from west to east. Again, I'm highly suspect that we see just a long-lived tornado warning that blasts through Illinois, through Indiana, just hangs on the entire time. It's going to be something of tornado warning is going to come up. It's going to have a hard time surviving very long. So I don't think we're talking about long track tornadoes, nor do I think we're talking about very strong tornadoes. You know, anything that's EF3 or higher on the Fujita scale, those are typically the very destructive type of tornadoes. I don't think we're talking necessarily about that, but you know, don't get caught up in, is this an EF3, an EF4, an EF2? Any tornadoes can certainly produce a threat to life and property. I'm going to go back to the radar for us. Again, we've got severe warnings all up and down this line outside of the tornado warning, which does look like the National Weather Service has dropped that tornado warning. Makes sense based off the velocity. We were just looking at it's lost a little bit of its rotation in some of those spots. But if we take a look at some of the severe thunderstorm warnings, again, large hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. Do you think at least the damaging wind threat as this moves to the east is going to be very common? So I would fully expect there to be, just simply put, strong wind gusts as this moves to the east this morning. So we should be anticipating that as it moves east. Especially, I would say, obviously, if you're into southeastern Illinois, these storms are already packing a punch. These will continue to move east, but along and south of I-70 in particular for the strongest of the winds. Some of the storms north of I-70, I think, can get a little bit rowdy as well. So we'll be watching that closely, although the better instability overall is into southern Indiana, where some of these storms are a little bit higher coverage and sparking off this morning. So we continue to watch. We continue to monitor this risk. I'll be kind of going back and forth between the clarity radar just to give us a general overview and looking at some of the velocity for any type of rotation that I may be seeing in some of these storms as well. I'm going to go back to the timer graphic for some of us who just may be joining the stream as far as giving us an idea of this line moving from west to east. In my opinion, in terms of any type of tornado warnings that we may see, it's going to be primarily in this line. It's going to be embedded within the line. These will have a hard time surviving for a long time, but this is kind of the latest timing in eastern, mind you. So again, as I bring this out towards in about 40 minutes, more into western Indiana, towards about 9 a.m., Indianapolis near Bloomington, and points to the south as we get towards 10 a.m. through Muncie towards near Richmond, Greensburg, Indiana, then 11 a.m. Dayton, Cincinnati, Independence, northern Kentucky for that line of storms to move into some of those areas in addition as well. Again, as far as severe potential is concerned, it is along and south of I-70, southeastern Illinois with the greatest severe threat this morning. If I go back to the current radar for us, we do have a few stronger storms towards Evansville as well. As far as any type of rotation in those storms further to the south, I'm not seeing anything clear-cut that would be of concern for a tornado. Watching closely, and if I zoom into the radar, you can see some of these notches that are starting to approach the Terre Haute area. These notches are what we need to look at for closely for any type of rotation. In fact, I'm going to bring back in the other radar tool for us just so we can see. We're going to look at the velocities once again. Look at these are called inflow notches. You can see these little notches that kind of hook back into the storm. If there's going to be an area of rotation, it's typically within these notches, right? When we have something that's more smooth, let me turn this off here. We have something more smooth, say towards like Olney, Illinois, St. Marie. It's typically, we don't see tons of rotation with that, but obviously I'm going to be taking a look at that to see what we're talking about as far as the tornadic risk is concerned. So let's bring up the velocities. Once again, I'm going to continue to explain this. What I'm looking at is when we're looking at the velocities on the radar product, when you have the red butted up against the green, that's what's signifying the rotation with some of these storms. I don't see something what I would call very robust as far as tornadoes concerned. This tornado warning has since been dropped, mind you. So that is an old warning that's for whatever reason sticking around on this program. I don't see anything definitive at the moment with any of these storms that's signifying any type of significant rotation for a tornado warning, but I do think it's worth monitoring closely some of these storms by Moonshine, Illinois, Marshall approaching Prairie Creek, approaching Terre Haute, that could pose some issues for some rotation just based off what it looks like and some of the history of rotation in some of these storms that it has had. So those, in my opinion, would be the storms to look out for as they approach Terre Haute. So just be very aware if you're towards Terre Haute, Marshall, Illinois, Prairie Creek. I would even say Robinson, Sullivan, Indiana, for this storm in particular. Again, don't see anything of concern for rotation in any of these storms further to the south along the Ohio River at the moment. We do have a few severe storms near the Evansville area this morning for primarily wind gusts is the main issue with these. And I do think overall it's the wind gusts and the hail which will be the main issue with some of these storms. Could they weaken as they get closer to central Indiana? Maybe slightly. I think more or less they maintain through central Indiana. If I have to be honest, I do think as this continues to move east, especially the wind gust threat continues to remain. I'm going to go back to this this graphic we have, and if you're a client in Clarity, you get these graphics. We've sent out several this morning. We've had various different video updates discussing this. But here's kind of the general window, the time frame, ETA arrival of that line of storms moving from west to east, which will have the most, the greatest risk for some embedded tornadoes within it. Again, am I anticipating a robust tornado outbreak? I am not. Am I anticipating long track tornadoes? I am not. Am I anticipating strong tornadoes? I am not. But can there certainly be some embedded rotation and tornadoes within this? Yes. Wind gusts are going to be the main concern, followed by that of hail, and then followed by that of tornadoes. Again, 8 a.m. Western Indiana. As we get closer to 9 a.m., that's more of Indianapolis, closer to Bloomington. 10 a.m. Richmond, Greensburg, Indiana. 11 a.m. Closer towards the Dayton, Cincinnati, Independence area as this moves off to the east. Do you think do you think it's safe to drive from Bloomington to Indianapolis this morning at 8 a.m.? You're going to be pushing it. It takes what, 45, 50 minutes ish, maybe a little bit over to get to Indianapolis. As you get to Indianapolis, I'd be concerned about these storms kind of catching up to you. So you could probably start your drive off well. You'll probably have a few scatter showers and thunderstorms to deal with. But as you get to Indianapolis, it could get a little dicey. And so if you're concerned about that and you have the ability to wait that out, Liana, it may be worth holding that off by an hour or so. Yep, Jessica, absolutely agree with you there. Okay, I'm going to get to some of these questions. Luis, Sheridan, hey, that's where I'm from. As far as the severe threat there, incredibly low. I think it's more of a flash flooding threat, if I have to be honest, for Sheridan, based off what I see on some of these storms. North of I-70 this morning, probably largely avoid any type of tornadic threat. Could pack a punch. Some of the storms north of I-70, maybe some 30-plus mile-per-hour winds, but flash flooding will be more of the deal towards Sheridan. What's the threat for Noblesville, Westfield, tornado-wise? Likely or no? Gut says it's more likely than it's more likely you don't see a tornado. I think it's very low on the north side of Indy. Hancock County, again, very low risk. I think the further south into Indiana you work, the better the tornadic risk can be. No tornado warnings ongoing right now, by the way. There are 0 tornado warnings ongoing at this moment in time. But notice by Terre Haute, some of these notches we see in the line. These are areas we'll be watching closely as we head throughout the morning, if we can get any type of rotation embedded within there. But there are currently no tornado warnings with this line, and it will be the wind gusts, which will be the primary concern. Cincinnati tornado watch. Yep. Cincinnati tornado watch indeed. Greenwood looking. Again, I'm going to go to this map, guys, for the timing. Around 9 a.m. for Greenwood. Tornado risk for any location is low, but non-zero. But the areas between the O lines, the areas at greatest risk for said tornado potential. Naomi, yep, correct. That's where the nowcasts are. Frankfurt, the risk is incredibly low. If you're north of I-70, the risk for strong to severe storms overall is just incredibly low. You probably avoided this morning. Tornado threat on a scale 1 to 5 is like at 0.5. Dayton, guys, if you're asking questions about your area, here's kind of the timing. Obviously, if you're north of I-70, I just think the risk is incredibly low. But Dayton, you can see towards 11 a.m. The wind in Mooresville, Indiana is already insane. Yeah, probably a little bit windy, a little bit breezy out ahead of these storms as well. Afternoon storms, Art Collins. Let's talk about the overall progression using this RFS model product. And you can see I've got the times in the top right-hand corner. And really, I think it's far southern Indiana. I would even say south of Bloomington for the highest risk for some strong storms. Can't rule out an isolated tornado in southern Indiana early this afternoon. But to be honest, by the time we get into the afternoon, that twisting of the atmosphere is not going to be like what the twisting of the atmosphere is now. So I think the risk is low, but non-zero, at least into the afternoon in southern Indiana. What we'll have going for us is a little bit more instability than what we have ongoing right now. But I do think the risk, once again, is quite low as far as that tornadic threat is concerned. To be honest, closer to I-70, yes, some showers and thunderstorms will be at play this afternoon. I think we probably just avoid the severe risk this afternoon closer towards Indianapolis. We'll see how far the stronger storms north can get, but the better instability will be in southern Indiana, in my opinion. And it does not help that the current radar right now this morning is going to be littered with showers and thunderstorms. It's oftentimes quite hard to get instability to rebuild back in when we have AM storms that we're dealing with. Any hail threat, Johnson County? Yes. I think up to a quarter-inch hail is going to be possible this morning. R. Collins, appreciate you. Very windy in Gosport. Yeah, some of these storms out ahead can certainly be windy and gusty. Even outside the storms, it's probably going to be very windy because we're just dealing with a strong overall system. Again, watching this area in particular closely, that's approaching the Terre Haute area right now. For any type of embedded rotation that may be possible just west of Terre Haute. So this, in my opinion, is the area of where I'm keeping the closest eye on for any type of rotation. We'll take a look at here in just a moment, but I'm going to try to do my best to get to some of these questions for us before we get back into some of these questions. Severity, Versailles, 60 mile per hour, some large hail. May have some rotation embedded within this. I don't see anything super definitive, but these little notches in this line do have me at least concerned that we could spark up a brief moment of some rotation in some of these storms. James, you're very welcome. Bluffton, Indiana is getting heavy thunderstorms now. Yeah, again, I don't see anything of concern in terms of rotation with any of these storms closer towards the Ohio River. In fact, let's just go ahead and look at some of this again. And what I'll do is I'll bring up this other radar software where we can look at the velocities. And we've got to use the velocities from a radar perspective to get an idea of rotation in some of these storms. And I've mentioned a couple times near Terre Haute is the area I'm most concerned with for the rotation. And what we're looking at on these rotation products, the red's one direction, the green's another direction. So where we have these butted up against each other is where we have rotation. But notice on some of these storms that we see west of Terre Haute right now, where it's more of broad areas where we have the red butted up against the green. Typically for a tornado, the tornado is a little bit smaller in size, right? It's not these widespread areas. So I would like to see something that's a little bit more definitive as far as rotation is concerned for any of these to go tornado warning. But there may be some broad rotation just west of Terre Haute, west of Prairie Creek, Prairieton, near approaching Terre Haute right now, Harrison. So these would be areas to watch where there's can be some broad rotation in these, but right now don't see anything super definitive just quite yet for what I would call a tornado. In addition, you can see some of these notches along this area as well. That's signifying we've got a little bit of inflow starting to work its way into these. These are called inflow notches. And so this is the area that has my attention of greatest concern at this moment for any of the tornadic potential. So I'm going to go back to the Clarity radar for us just to give us a more of a zoomed out look at the radar. And again, if you're north of I-70, the storms, I don't see a single severe storm, probably more of a flash flood threat. These storms north of I-70 can probably produce some wind gusts of 30, 40 miles per hour, maybe locally 45, but I think it's primarily a flash flood threat. And to be honest, I showed this earlier. If we take a look at the instability, the greatest instability is more south of I-70, Cincinnati, near Bloomington. That's where the highest amount of instability is, where you're just kind of don't have tons of instability at this moment in time, north of I-70 in particular. Now, one thing I did show to start off my stream, I'm going to show it again for us, is this is what I'm looking at is something called mesoanalysis. And so what we're looking at, anyone can get access to this on the Storm Prediction Center page. And what we're looking at, these different charts we see, is the wind profile of the atmosphere up with height. And what we have out ahead of these storms, especially southern Indiana, southeastern Illinois, northern Kentucky, is not only the winds increasing with speed with height, but some directional twisting of the atmosphere as well, suggestive that we can get some rotation that can be possible, especially within that line. I'm not impressed right now with any type of rotation further to the south, but I'll be keeping a close eye on that because there is some of that rotation with some of these storms closer towards the Ohio River in southern Indiana. But look at the nature. I'm going to loop this radar for us. And just to give us a sense of how this is moving, how this is progressing, and it's going to take a second for it to fully load and get in. In fact, let me speed this up for us. Right now, we're looking at the Clarity radar. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Notice the orientation of some of these storms where they're kind of moving west to east. You can see almost two different corridors of that, north of I-70 and then towards the Ohio River, southern Indiana, approaching Cincinnati. And this is going to allow a situation where we can get some training of some thunderstorms. So whenever meteorologists talk about training of thunderstorms, we're talking about consecutive storms moving over an individual location. And these are going to have some hefty rainfall rates. It's going to come down hot and heavy as these storms come overhead. So you get caught by some training thunderstorms, you get hit by 2, 3, 4 different storms. Well, that's going to open up the door for flash flooding because a lot of these areas in southeastern Illinois, southern Indiana, southwestern Ohio, northern Kentucky, the last couple of days, we've gotten tons of rain. I know, I live on the south side of Indianapolis. My neighborhood itself had tons of flooding with some of these heavy rains over the past week. And so it's not going to take much to produce the flash flooding with this. So certainly a concern. Probably the flash flooding risk is going to be more of a concern versus that of the tornado risk, which again, I think is rather low in my opinion. watching this line in particular as it starts to approach the Illinois-Indiana border for any type of embedded rotation. Right now, we just have severe thunderstorm warnings. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning north of Evansville, then really all up and down this line into southeastern Illinois, approaching western Indiana at this point in time. If we click on some of the severe warnings that we're dealing with right now, we've got some wind gusts to near 60 miles per hour, radar indications up to 3/4 of an inch of hail. You can see the tornado detection on here is possible, and that kind of alludes to what I was mentioning before of some weak rotation within that, some of the inflow notches. But that's the area that has my greatest concern for any type of rotation. But not seeing anything super definitive for anything that may go tornado warned, at least at the moment. But that's the area that just catches my eye as far as any type of where we can get some tornado warnings, at least into the immediate short term. So I've got on another screen that you all can't see, I've got the velocity products up, and I'll show from time to time the velocities. This would be the area to watch that could put down maybe a quick tornado can develop, but not anticipating anything long-lived, not anticipating strong tornadoes. This will be kind of, you may see a tornado warning go up, then it quickly diminishes. So nothing long-lived or particularly too strong. Looks like where the tornado warning was in the storm coming directly for southeast Indianapolis. Yeah, I think you need to be on the lookout for some potential for some tornadoes as this starts to move into your area. Okay, let me try to get to some questions for us. Can the initial round of storms moving into Ohio lessen the impact of the line further to the west? That may be the case, James. I could see that being an issue. We'll watch it closely. My gut just says this can then maintain at least the wind gust potential as it moves into your neck of the woods into Ohio, in my opinion. Driving in bad weather is always a great time with people who can't drive when it's warm, sunny, and clear. Well, Pamela, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So Terre Haute could have a tornado. Again, Terre Haute, just need to watch it closely. I don't see anything that's super definitive for any type of rotation that would spark a tornado warning. I do see what I would call weak and broad rotation within this, but just need a little bit of a clearer picture of the rotation, something that's a little bit more definitive and a sharp area of rotation before I say that there needs to be a tornado warning. So I'm just watching that area closely as far as Terre Haute is concerned. What about Cedar Grove area as kids have school in East County Road in Cedar Grove? I'm going to bring up this graphic. I saw some of you mention the timing's already off. It's to give a general sense. I don't think it's going to be that far off, but towards Cedar Grove in particular around 9 a.m. for this area. Storms, it's primarily this line of storms moving along the Illinois-Indiana border. That's going to pose the greatest risk. So around 9 a.m. But again, the tornadic threat is low. I'm just here kind of quarterbacking this, just letting you guys know of as I see things, the threat. And certainly as I see any type of rotation or a tornado warning gets issued either by us or the National Weather Service, I'll certainly be discussing that as we get a little bit closer. We do have a special weather statement approaching the northwest side of Indianapolis. Looks to be for some 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts with that. So some gusty winds starting to get going a little bit further to the north. Again, the storms, especially north of I-70 at this point, just not seeing really much in the way of rotation. Watching closely northern Hamilton County. This little area right into here. In fact, I'm going to bring up this other radar product for us real quick. Let me enhance the screen for us. And we'll take a look at the rotation elsewhere as well. Again, there's no tornado warnings issued. This radar program I'm using, for whatever reason, it just cannot get rid of that tornado warning. But some weak rotation here, northern Hamilton County, with this storm. Probably not a tornado, I would imagine, just the look of it. Just watching that closely. And then addition to Terre Haute, and let me kind of show you guys what I'm talking about for the velocities that are concerned here. Let me bring up the storm relative velocity on this. And again, what we're looking at for is the reds butted up against the greens. That's signifying the potential for tornadoes and spin in the atmosphere, but you really need a tight, what's called a couplet. So not just this area of red next to this broad area of green. That doesn't necessarily scream tornadoes with this. You really need to see more of a couplet. So an individual blob of red next to an individual blob of green. Right now, I don't see anything that is definitive for rotation into western Indiana. We still do not have any tornado warnings in place. Same deal with some of these storms, looking at some of the velocities into southern Indiana. Let's switch over to the Cincinnati, the Wilmington radars, just to look at some of the velocities on some of these storms. And once again, not seeing anything overly impressive as far as any type of rotation with some of these storms as well. So I'm going to move this to out of the way. We're going to take a look at the clarity radar, get more of a zoomed out look. And again, we've got plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing right now, especially the wind gusts could have some large hail embedded within here. Quarter size hail would be probably the max size of any type of hail this morning. No tornado warnings ongoing. I do think the risk is low, and I think it continues to remain low as we move forward here into the forecast, but we'll just continue to keep an eye on it. I'm sorry, what purple meaning on radars? If you see purple on a radar, usually means there's probably hail and very heavy rain. Should I send my kids to school, Decatur Township? Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't. I don't know what time school is and what time the kiddos are getting into school, but I do think the tornado risk is low. Just something we need to monitor this morning with this line of storms as it moves from west to east. Some reports actually seeing it. Okay. Is this guy good? I just got here. Kyler, I hope I'm good. I've been doing this for a long time. Heads up, Matt, there's a tornado warning down in Texas. It sure is. South of Shreveport, northeast of Houston. What about central Indiana? Again, I don't know where you're at, Sunshine, as far as the exactly in central Indiana, but especially along and south of I-70 in Indiana, cannot rule out an isolated tornado. Damaging winds will be the primary threat as this moves in from west to east. Can't rule out some embedded pockets of large hail as well. In addition, I think flash flooding is going to be an issue. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate you. Pamela, thank you. You guys are awesome. Is Greenwood under a tornado watch? Laura, yes, they are. They are under a tornado watch. I do think the tornado risk is limited. I don't think we're talking about a widespread tornado outbreak. We're not talking about strong tornadoes. We're not talking about long-lived tornadoes. We're talking about, especially in that line that's moving from west to east, starting to get into western Indiana, some embedded pockets of rotation that can produce a tornado. But I'm just not anticipating a widespread, severe, robust tornado outbreak this morning. Mooresville, again, probably more of a wind gust threat and hail. Can't rule out an isolated tornado for any one area. I just think the tornado risk is rather low this morning. Okay. Is it going mainly east or is it more northeast? Well, let's loop the radar and we can kind of look at this together. This overall line, and you can see we've got new severe thunderstorm warnings starting to being issued now just west of Bloomington. Severe thunderstorm warnings. It's the line itself's kind of moving. The individual segments are moving east northeast, but this whole line is just going to continue to kind of shift from west to east. So if you're in southern Indiana, out ahead of this line of storms, I would expect some damaging wind gusts at the very least, up to 60 miles per hour. I think it can continue to kind of maintain more or less as far as that threat's concerned. Is Bloomington going to get hit again with the severe thunderstorm? I think it's likely. Again, the tornadic risk just quite low, if I have to be honest. Just can't rule out the embedded pockets of rotation. And we'll look at that again together here in just a moment and kind of just show you what I'm looking at as far as the rotation and the velocities are concerned. But right now, just not seeing anything overly concerning as far as rotation is concerned. I'll chat with my team here real quick. Okay. Let's see. Let's get to some questions. Have you seen the damage from the tornado from last night? I heard it was really bad in Lake Village, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, I saw some pretty devastating images come out from that tornado last night in northeastern Illinois. We'll see. I mean, they still have to do the survey with that tornadic storm we saw up into northeastern Illinois last night, but would not be shocked EF3 or higher. I mean, it looked like it was pretty devastating. I saw some 4-inch plus hail with that storm last night as well. Just an absolute crazy storm. Carmel, Indiana. Again, you're north of I-70. You probably avoid the tornadic risk altogether. I think the risk is very low in those spots. I think the risk in general is just very low for any area in Indiana. But some strong winds. Can't rule out some isolated large hail. Probably more of a strong wind and flash flood threat for the Carmel area. Is Floral, Illinois supposed to have a tornado today? I'm not sure exactly where Flora's at. Are you out ahead of this line? If you are, I can't rule out something isolated. And then, as far as the afternoon, I think especially south of I-70, can't rule an isolated tornado in the afternoon into far southern Illinois. But if you're further north of I-70, we're not talking tornadoes, in my opinion, into Illinois. Yeah, EF3 plus is what I immediately thought when I saw the damage. Yeah, me too, Pamela, unfortunately. What about the risk in Northern Kentucky, Cincy, if I missed if you answered? Yeah, I'm going to go back to this nowcast that we sent out to folks over on Clarity this morning around 11 a.m. I just like the folks in southern Indiana, I think it's primarily a wind gust threat, but can't rule out an embedded area of rotation. So anyone super concerned about tornado, we need to monitor it closely this morning, no doubt about it. But it's, in my opinion, it's the wind gusts, the main concern, followed by that of hail, followed by that of tornadoes in this particular instance. Oh, by Effingham. Well, the worst of the storms are already past you, Lane. And so as far as this morning, you don't have to worry about a tornado. My gut says if it's by Effingham, any type of isolated tornado risk this afternoon probably stays to your south. Is it calming down before it gets to Greenwood? No, I think it probably continues to maintain and push east this morning. Wind gusts are going to be the near 60 miles per hour are going to be the most likely severe hazard you're going to be dealing with this. We just need to watch out for some embedded rotation. That'll be possible with some of these storms, which I don't see anything. There's no tornado warnings ongoing right now. I don't see anything on the radar that really has great concern for me. Batesville, again, probably around 9 a.m.-ish. These storms get there. Damaging winds will be of most concern. Crawford County, Ohio River line. With some of these storms out ahead, I don't see nothing crazy for rotation. Flash flooding will be probably your primary risk with these. And it does look like these are starting to drift a little bit further to the north. Probably along these storms and north towards I-70. That's going to be the greatest risk for severe weather this morning. Looks like if you're in Cincinnati, by the way, Lane, I believe, maybe it was someone else who reached out about that. You're kind of in for a long morning with just a lot of storms. These are going to train overhead. I am concerned about flash flooding there, but tornado risk with these leading edge storms just looks incredibly low. We just really need to watch this leading edge of storms here for any embedded rotation. Again, no tornado warnings right now. I know we're in a tornado watch, but do not see any tornado warnings at this moment in time, and not seeing anything incredibly pressing as far as any rotation in some of these storms. The Yalabot keeps saying there's a tornado warning coming towards Carthage, Indiana. The Yalabot. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Took me a second there. I don't see a tornado warning. So I'm not sure. Bloomington 839. Damaging wind is going to be the most primary severe threat for you in flash flooding. For any area, anyone reaching out about the storms today along I-70 and south, where these storms are ongoing now, can't rule out an isolated tornado. The threat's pretty low. I don't see a single tornado warning at this moment in time. I don't see anything super pressing as far as rotation is concerned. Just see a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings on this line for primarily wind gusts and some hail, but just need to watch it. Again, I started the stream out today talking about the atmosphere does have a little bit of twisting in it. So can't fully rule out a tornado, but right now the risk has been rather mild. Just haven't been much. There are a few warnings this morning into southern Illinois. That's been about it. Again, I continue to watch, especially some of these areas right into here, starting to get into western Indiana for any type of rotation. But as far as from a velocity perspective and trying to look at any type of significant rotation, I'm just not seeing that right now. Franklin about 9 a.m.-ish for these storms, wind gusts, main issue. Hall is talking about Texas right now for tornado warning. Okay. We're going to be focused in this particular stream more into kind of this tornado watch area across southeastern Illinois, northern Kentucky, Indiana, and western Ohio. The red boxes, that is the tornado watch. That is the tornado watch. The yellow boxes we see, those are the severe thunderstorm warnings. If and when we see a tornado warning, those will show up in more definitive, bolder red boxes. If it's a confirmed tornado warning, we'll see purple boxes show up. Illinois had it bad last night. Yes, that storm was pretty bad, unfortunately. What about my backyard? Will I get a tornado here? It's more likely you will not see a tornado in your backyard. I love it. Some of you have been asking about the second round. I like Radar Omega. Radar Omega is good, Pamela, or whoever mentioned that, Abigail. Some of you have been asking about the second round today. I'm going to go to the future radar for us, and I'm using this RRFS model product. You can see the times in the top right-hand corner for us. I do think there's after these storms shift off to the east, and eventually these storms do get into eastern Ohio, we've got another round of storms that spark, especially closer to the Ohio River, getting into the afternoon. But the problem for the afternoon storms, I can't rule out an isolated tornado closer to the Ohio River, both in Indiana, southern Illinois, especially south of I-70, and then closer to the Ohio River in Ohio as well, and I would say northern Kentucky. There can certainly be some isolated tornadoes, but what we don't have versus what we have this morning is really that twisting profile of the atmosphere. So it's not overly robust. I think it'll be primarily the wind gust threat that'll be the issue. Flash flooding could be some isolated large hail as well. I do think the severe risk this afternoon is really going to struggle to get to, say, like at Indianapolis. I do think there could be some showers and storms this afternoon, but the best instability is going to be more southern Indiana, southern Ohio, Kentucky, southern Illinois, versus further to the north, where we're just going to struggle to get that instability really going. So the waffle of doom. Okay. Let's go back to the radar here. Again, no tornado warnings ongoing. Nothing I would say of particularly of great concern as far as tornadoes are concerned and rotation, but I continue to watch. In fact, in just a moment, I'll bring up the velocities for us so we can look and assess together about any type of twisting that may be occurring. But tornado risk is just very low. Can't state that point enough. Tornado warning south of Little Rock. If we look further off to the south and to the west, we do have some stronger storms. This line of storms off into Arkansas, northeastern Texas, certainly packing a little bit more of a punch as far as strong to severe storms and rotation in these. But I'm going to keep this a little bit more focused, just as an FYI, and to this tornado watch area: southeastern Illinois, southern Indiana, western Ohio, northern Kentucky. Just to watch this closely with us, but definitely some strong storms if you're into Arkansas, northeastern, eastern Texas, for some strong storms there as well. So, okay. Yeah, Cheyenne. That storm last night was nasty. 4+ inch hail. I saw reports, and some of the images I haven't looked in great detail. I've been doing a lot of forecasting this morning personally myself, but some of the initial images I saw are just devastating. Northeastern Illinois, northwestern Indiana. So certainly our prayers go out to everyone impacted by those storms last night. Not to sleep on the threat as well is the training nature that we see as some of these storms. As I loop the radar, you can see this almost west to east orientation, especially for some of you folks, southern Indiana, then approaching Cincinnati. With how much rain we've seen over the last 7 days and the training nature of some of these storms, I'm concerned about flash flooding. You can see some flood advisories there north of I-70 as well, because we're getting some training of some storms there. But just tons of rain over the last 7 to 10 days. To be honest, it won't take much. These are going to have some high rainfall rates as this rolls through. So wind gusts are going to be strong wind gusts as this rolls through into southern Indiana. We'll continue to watch out for any embedded tornadoes embedded within this, but just won't take much to really get some flooding issues going. So that's going to be another concern with these as well. It's already saturated. Don't drive into flooded roadways if we flood. 100% agree with you, Pamela. Yep, some storms are certainly firing up out ahead of the line. I've continually tried to look at the any type of rotation in those, and I've not been impressed with any of those storms. That's from a rotation perspective. What they will do a little bit, though, they'll kind of prime the pump a little bit for the greater area of storms off to the west to cause some flooding issues. But certainly concerned about some flooding, southern Indiana, approaching Cincinnati this morning. You could just see the orientation. These storms are just kind of directed right towards Cincinnati this morning for some flooding concerns there. And the same deal north of I-70 as well. We've got some training and some thunderstorms there for some flash flooding. Again, tornado threat very low. No tornado warnings ongoing. We just had some severe thunderstorm watches ongoing at this time. Michael?
Hello. Come to join for a moment.
The man, the myth, the legend.
What is going down?
We're watching these storms roll through, Michael. Tornado watch.
Mm-hmm.
But just looks like some gusty storms.
Okay.
So
Brett told me we were going to get blasted.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, around 9 a.m. Johnson County. 60 mile per hour winds. Looks like a nice little line moving through here.
Nice.
Heavy rain as well. So
How's our storm timer working out? Have we been able to play with that this morning at all?
I haven't yet. I don't want to spoil the beans of our super top secret link, Michael.
I did that last night.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah. No. So, good morning, everybody. We've got. What do you think ETA in Indy is on this, Matt?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. All right. So, guys, do us a favor. Share this. Tell your friends coming through. At least main part here around 9 o'clock this morning. All right. I've already sent in my Coca Ross this morning. All right. Let's see. Good morning, Cheyenne. Let's see. Who do we have here? Watching Philippines? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the Philippines.
Yeah. I was moving, at about 40 miles an hour then or something?
Yeah, I think they were getting about 47 from west to east.
Okay. All right.
Asking the team here real quick the speed they're getting.
Velocity above Liston? Anything for Kokomo?
Nope. Just some heavy rain. Heavy rain right now. Some thunderstorms for Kokomo. Not concerned about, at this moment, any rotation up by Kokomo at this point. And the risk is very low, Michael, for a tornado anywhere this morning.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been maybe 1 to 2 tornado warnings in Illinois this
I was
morning.
a little surprised by the tornado watch personally.
I personally was too,
Yeah.
if I have to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
What I was showing some folks earlier this morning, we take a look at the profile,
Mm-hmm.
how ahead of this. There is some of that twisting of the atmosphere. The problem is it's 8 a.m. in the morning, right? If this was rolling through in the afternoon and we had something like this, you can bet we would have probably several tornado warnings in a setup like this. But timing is just not favorable, and the instability kind of stinks right now. It's not very good.
Yeah.
Because of the time of day. So
Yeah.
We've got those issues.
46, 40. So yeah, take all that stuff off, Matt, and do a timer, and then we can do a screenshot and show people the new tool coming to Clarity. That's fun, right? Don't you think that's fun?
No, I am very excited for it.
Yeah.
So
we've built, for those of you that maybe were watching, I'm going to get oddly close to Matt. For those of you that were watching maybe last night and you didn't see some of the stuff we're talking, we have a new storm tracking or timer tool coming out, both for supercells and lines of storms. And so I'm excited to roll that out and make it available to all of you. I think we're making it available to the Clarity Home Premium and above packages. We will have a drawing tool that will be available for everybody. But boy, that looks good right there. You know what? That looks real good. You collapse that color. Yeah, and then. Yeah. So, and it's cool. The way that this one works is it shows the cities as you zoom in. So, as you zoom and pan around, the cities on the map should start to populate, which is a little weird. Bloomington's not showing up in that.
I agree. I don't know why
It could. It's there.
If I zoom in further here,
Yeah,
we'll do a screenshot.
Yeah.
Of this.
So it's currently active on our dev site right now, and it should be live on our in production here. I think at the end of this week.
I think so.
I think. Don't quote me on that, but yeah. But we'll show it to you, and again, it just kind of helps you time out storms as it's moving west to east. If you know the time of the storms, you can always click on the warning; it'll tell you the speed of the storm in that regard as well. But yeah, there it is. There, pretty cool. That's what is that? An Indy arrival there at 9:05?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 9:04 Indy, 9:05 Greenwood, which is 1 hour literally from now.
Bloomington 8:51. Cincinnati about 11 a.m. So
Clarity is such good shit. Client streams are way better than public streams. Less dumbassery. That's comment of the day. You know, I'm going to give that comment of the day.
Should I show it?
This guy, I don't, and forgive me, I don't know if you're a guy or a girl by your name, but you always have you always have good comments in the streams, and we appreciate that. So
They do.
Yeah.
They had some good. They had some good comments earlier as well. But again, no tornado warnings at this point. Just some strong winds. I think that's going to continue to be the primary risk.
Some power flickering going on there.
Pittsburgh hopped on for updates. I want to look at the velocities here as well, just to see if there's anything. I look at the way the radar looks right now. I bet there's no.
Is radar scope broken with warnings? Or are we broken with warnings?
I think radar scope's broken with warnings because that's old.
Okay.
So something's messed up on this. But I'm just using it to look at velocities. You know, which.
Yeah, I could see that's a nice little. That's an interesting area right there in Brownsburg, northern Hendricks County.
Yeah.
The yellow boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings, Lena, which means we're worried about winds, gusting over 60 miles per hour.
This little inflow notch right here by Brownsburg, there is a little bit of rotation showing up in that spot. It's about the only area I see where there's rotation all up and down this line.
Real quick, I'm just going to do this just so.
Okay.
There we go. Face is coming through.
You can see this little spot right. This little area right here, north of Brownsburg. A little bit of rotation showing up in this spot. So, has our attention at the very least.
Yeah, possibly northeastern Hendricks County, far south or northwestern Marion County, far southwestern Hamilton County. I wouldn't be shocked if that got warned, even for just a marginal spin-up threat. I wouldn't be shocked if a tornado warning came out on that. Especially because there's a tornado watch. Matt, you need a mouse. That is just not a.
I know.
That's not a method. If you can see Matt's method to draw right now, can confirm that Brownsburg, Pittsburgh got wild for a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, at the very least, there's going to be strong winds with this.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see that couplet be a little bit tighter, personally. But it's about the only show in town, Michael, to be honest. If we zoom out, looking all up and down this line, I don't see anything that catches my eye for rotation.
Outflow crazy.
Any of the storms to the south that are going, I don't see anything in rotation there as well. So
that's weird. It's working on my phone, but not yours, or on the warnings.
Right. I don't know.
New warning down there in Jasper. Severe thunderstorm warning coming out now down there for Jasper. Looks like 60 mile per hour wind. So that's a new severe thunderstorm warning for Du Bois County, northwestern Crawford, western Orange County down there in Indiana until 8:45. So 60 mile per hour winds on that one.
Yeah, I imagine as this rolls through the state, probably continue to see the severe thunderstorm warnings flare up for primarily the wind gust. Any type of tornado potential at this point just seems incredibly low. But flash flooding is certainly going to be a threat too, with how much rain we've had. I don't think it'll take much, especially these storms in southern Indiana, just the orientation of these. In fact, if we loop the Clarity's radar, you can see the west-east movement of some of these storms. We're going to have some training situations. Cincinnati, the west-south of Bloomington into southern Indiana is going to produce some flooding issues, I think, there, because we've had tons of rain over the past couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you guys based in, Matt? Greenwood, Indiana.
But don't come here, because
his name's Rail Stalker. He might.
Yeah, don't come here. We've had people come here, and it just is weird. So We're in and about the Greenwood area. There's a new warning, Matt, up there for that one.
Yep, they issued a severe thunderstorm warning for literally that cell we were just talking about. So I still think that's going to be the main issue today is the wind gust. I'm not if we can get any embedded rotation, which is still not impossible. I'm not anticipating a long-lived tornado. I'm not anticipating a strong tornado. Any tornadoes we see would kind of go up quickly as it would die off, probably, but nothing strong, nothing long-lived. Just primarily wind gusts with this, but we'll continue to stay on here for a little bit and watch this come through as we head throughout the morning hours of today. Nothing impressive for rotation with some of these storms into southern Indiana. Just looks, really just some strong wind gusts and some heavy rain, flash flooding into southern Indiana as well. So I want to take a look at the velocity. I want to make sure that storm.
Yeah, we're just kidding with you there, Rail Stalker Adventures. Just a joke. We've actually we do have people that come here sometimes and uninvitedly. It's a little strange. So,
No.
Yeah, rotation's gone. We're just joking around. But we are in Greenwood. Matt, turn that warnings off on this. It's throwing me off. Severe thunderstorm warning we got a new one. Go back to clarity.
Okay.
There's a new warning now, a pretty big one for most of central Indiana. What's that one for? Probably all wind again.
60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, 0.75 inch hail.
3/4 inch hail. So that's going to be like Monroe County, Johnson County, Morgan County,
Southern
Marion. Now listen, here's the deal. I would not be shocked if you're going to hear tornado sirens. All right. Because we have a tornado watch with severe thunderstorm warnings. And so it wouldn't shock me at all if some of these people are now turning the sirens on because of that setup, not because of a tornado, but again, because of a severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado watch. So if you hear it, that's why. I'm going to bet $5,000 that we still get people saying, I hear the tornado sirens.
Well, I'm expecting to hear it like any second. Being in Johnson County, they just seem to.
Yeah, I wonder if we can hear it from in here.
On a whim, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Still, there's maybe these little pockets.
Yeah.
Like little mini embedded pockets of rotation. Northern Hamilton County. I'm going to bring back the velocity product in for us real quick. You can see these. Just not tight enough. Approaching Atlanta, northern Hamilton County, between Whitestown and Zionsville. Those are about the only areas where I see at least some sense of rotation ongoing right now. But I am just not seeing anything further to the south that's anything definitive. I think it still continues to remain primarily a wind gust threat. Heavy rain, flash flooding, that's going to be an issue with this as well. But let's keep an eye on these little sneaky little devils. Northern Hamilton County. So as we see something interesting on velocity, we'll continue to show some of that.
Can I do something real quick?
You
Matt?
sure can.
Just for fun. I'll let you take a quick break there if you want. So this new warning here that you see over here coming into central Indiana. This is obviously a lot of folks are there. So we have that moving again around 40. We're going to call it around 45 miles an hour coming into a large, heavily populated little area there. So we'll time this bad boy out for when it's going to arrive. And we're moving kind of generally like that.
Yep.
You have that. That's because you have it at 180. I'm gonna cancel that for a second. We're gonna go to by speed. We're gonna go 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, I have not played with the speed feature yet.
Yeah, that's the new one.
Okay.
That's Luke. He's a mad scientist.
Luke is a mad scientist.
Luke is a mad man. So we'll bring it. Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah. What's wrong?
Well, my mouse is dead. I don't need a new one. It's just dead right now. It needs charged.
Oh, so you have one?
Yes, it's dead.
Matt, You see, this is why we can't have nice things here at Bam Weather. Just kidding. Okay, so we did that, and since Matt's being
Difficult.
you're being a rule follower, and I appreciate that. They don't want me to show the link on the live stream, and I try to follow the rules too sometimes. Oh, good. That's where I wanted it. I know, and I did. I'm going to show up the timing real quick, guys, for this as it populates here onto the desktop.
I got it.
You get it, Matt. Get it for me. Matt's using the old finger mouse pad, and it just takes 37 years to get everything you need.
I don't know why Michael hates me.
So here's the ETA for that severe thunderstorm warning. But this is a new tool coming to Clarity that I just really love. I'm really excited for this. And you can see the ETA of the times in 15-minute increments along the blue line, and then you can see your cities, the ETA. This is for the leading edge. So pretty cool.
Each of these different shades is 15 minutes. Yep. So if your city is not populating on here, again, just from the time, just draw out where you're at. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the ETA arrival for this.
Yep. Barry said, "Do we ever plan on tours of your new building?" Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I don't know.
I'll let you answer that one.
I don't have. It's not no. It's not yes. There's a possibility there. We could set that up. So we are days away from signing paperwork and digging dirt. Permits are there. Everything's done. We're just waiting last minute on some. Go back to, it says they can't read it. Go back to that image real quick, Matt.
Okay.
And zoom in just a little bit. We're just waiting on some things to come through. So getting close. Okay. Yeah. So Claire, if you don't have Clarity Home Premium, this will come with that. You'll be able to do this yourself, and that'll be coming out soon. So make sure if you don't have Clarity and you want to get access to it or upgrade, there'll be a link here in the comments, or you can email us sales@bamwx.com, or click on the pinned comment here in the chats to check it out. So, anyways,
number of tornado warnings, 0.
Did someone ask that?
No.
Or that was just you?
No, that was just me making a comment, observation.
B. Waltz, what's he saying? He is rear inflow jet starting to show up. I bet these go 70 mile per hour winds. Okay. He's got 78 mile per hour there near Freedom.
Let's take a look.
Brett's our intel guy. He keeps us, focused. Because sometimes we get on tangents where
Lordy.
Yeah, let's go over there towards Spencer, Indiana. Why don't you zoom in, Matt, and or maybe this thunderstorm right there.
This little notch,
yes,
is starting to bow out.
Or Monroe County, they can't catch a break.
Now, granted, we're
about 3,500 feet.
Yeah,
I think. Yep.
About 3,000 feet. About 3,000 feet in the atmosphere, but this is, showing winds 3,000 feet. I think I saw an 80.
Yeah, you did.
80 miles per hour. Now that's probably not going to be reflected at the surface, but I could definitely see Brett's point, 70.
Yeah, possibly these storms with that rear inflow jet kicking up. Matt, kind of go back to that and just draw real quick. Kind of show these people what we mean by that rear inflow jet. You can see it bowing out. You can see that kind of nudging out, if you will.
If we go look at just the radar itself, the bowing segment, it's typically on that leading edge of the bow, or we call it the apex, where we can get a rear inflow jet. So it's the winds about 5,000 feet, 10,000 feet in the air start to get dragged towards the surface. And what's interesting, a lot of times we see clearing right behind these features. Yep. And it is interesting towards Jasonville, you're starting to see that clearing out. And that's the downward motion of the rear inflow jet. starting to get dragged down towards the surface. And so we'll see in the next couple frames, if this really does get going, this will start to bow out just west of Bloomington towards Spencer, towards Freedom, Ellettsville. So if you're in those areas, certainly need to be on the lookout for some prolific wind gusts. What is that?
Low-level jets at 82 knots right now.
82 knots.
Yeah. Those storms tap into that wind over central Indiana, and we may see this may be a different tune as this line moves through.
Yeah. And then once it does start to bow out, then you've got on the north side of the bow and the south side of the bow, that's where you can get a little bit of a better threat for a tornado for that to happen. So that'll be worth watching very closely this morning.
If some of these winds make it to the surface, what we'll probably see is these thunderstorm warning colors change from yellow to orange. They go to that destructive category, where the warning's a bit more serious, if you will. We would probably have to see a report or two before that would happen. But they would change from this yellow that you see to an orange color for a little bit more seriousness in the tone. But I would say if you're anywhere from Indy to Bloomington, Greenwood, Martinsville, Brown County, Nashville, Columbus, anywhere in that central Indiana corridor there, be ready for possibly 70-mile-per-hour winds now at this point as it moves through.
We can show them I mean, look at this.
That's crazy.
These are winds about 10,000 feet up in the air and 60 knots. Yeah, 80 miles per hour or so. So very, very, very strong. It's called a low-level jet right here.
Yeah, so what those winds or those storms, all they have to do is tap into about 5,000 feet up and drag those winds to the surface. It's not that hard to do in these linear setups, which is possibly what we're seeing. Look at the clearing there now.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the signs. It's already bowing out, and then the clearing behind. And so maybe the writing's on the wall, Michael.
Yeah.
We got a low-level jet. We've got the clearing. We've got the bowing starting to occur for some destructive winds.
Brett said he's tossing out to the Clarity folks a special nowcast for 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. Once he gets that out, we'll show that. That way you guys can see. Well, if you have Clarity, you'll get it to your phones as well. But it's certainly looking a little bit more interesting now, Marty.
It is. The tornado threat may not be overly prolific, but the wind gusts look like they can really pack a punch. Let's zoom out so everyone can see what's going on. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning northwestern Ohio. So certainly at least a few stronger storms getting north of I-70 this morning. I'm going to double check.
But
velocity.
in Clarity radar, the storm motion alerts are some white, but there are some blue ones and pink ones. What do those colors mean? I'm going to be honest with you, Kristen. I don't know what you're talking about. If you could, I'm not sure what you mean by.
I think she's talking about the.
Oh, you might be talking about storm motion. Top one. You might be talking about those. Those, if you are, those are using different colors delineate different threats. And I'm going to be honest with you, that is data that's generated by the MRMS data, the multi-radar, multi-sensor. We actually don't generate that data, and we don't have any control over it. And I'm not a huge fan of it. If you zoom down, Matt, just go down to that blue one right there, and click on the centroid. It will tell us things. But note how it's pointing a little off balance there. It's difficult to get behind the data that it puts out. So I say all that to say we put that data in there as some clients request it to see it, but we don't endorse it. We'll leave it at that.
Right. And you can click on this little blue eye, and it gives you, what do these colors mean? Blue, wind, yellow, hail, magenta, tornado.
Isn't that fantastic?
It is.
And shout out to Eric and Luke and Vince for just making that nice. You know,
They make everything
it's
nice.
not very often I give Vince shout outs because sometimes I just don't like him.
Yeah, me too.
This
Yeah,
morning
join the
I'll-
club. Yep.
Yeah, this morning I'll do it.
Lots of hate for Vince.
Oh man. Okay. Good morning. Always nice to see Michael out here doing the dang thing. Okay. Hello. I've only been here for about 20 minutes. Matt's probably been here for about 20 hours.
Well, it's been I don't know when I
Hour
started
and a half.
streaming,
90 minutes.
but yeah, it's been a hot minute, so to speak.
I got my gas here. Shameless plug to our friends at First Form.
Well, I smashed an energy drink on my way into work this morning.
Udalik winds are insane, they say, down there near Columbus. Or no, where is Udalik? I thought that was down near Edinburgh. Maybe out ahead of it.
Some of these storms, maybe.
I don't know, but I thought Udalik was like far northwestern Bartholomew, or is Columbus Bartholomew County? Bartholomew County. I don't know. I can't remember. Hey, here's the severe wind gust nowcast that Matt's going to pull in. That Brett just sent to Clarity clients. If you don't have Clarity, you need to get it. You need to make sure the. Can I do this real quick, Matt? While that's there, I want to type in.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
I just put the link in here for you guys. And if you don't have it, this is the type of stuff that is sent to your devices. And you can see the ETA right there, right in line with what Matt and I were saying a little bit ago. 855, there's southwestern Indianapolis, western Greenwood there, like western Johnson County going through central kind of Brown County, 855. But you can see what he has here, increasing intense storms moving across the area up to 70 or 80 mile per hour wind gusts. That's it's impressive.
Yeah, and it does. If we look at the radar, I mean, it's versus some of the previous radar scans, it does look more Bowie.
Yeah. How's the lightning with it, Matt? I haven't looked here. There's not a ton of lightning.
No.
This is interesting. Which we have kind of low instability this morning, not a ton of Cape, but
I think a lot of it too is the cloud itself is, I think, very warm. I think we don't have crazy lapse rates, so we really need some ice creation to really get some good lightning to occur, and there is some, but it's certainly not overly robust.
That was a good meteorology lesson there.
You like that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
You sometimes forget that kind of stuff. You know,
I never forget.
You don't. You're so good.
But it is interesting, and we pointed this out earlier, the bowing nature of this, and then the clearing behind. And anytime we're dealing with a situation where we talk about a rear inflow jet in a storm, so we're just talking about the strong winds aloft getting forced to the surface. This is what you will typically see. You'll see this bowing out ahead and then clearing in behind. That clearing is from the strong winds aloft being pushed down into the ground. And so it is a little area of sinking motion behind the storms. Anytime we're talking about sinking motion, obviously we're not talking about rain creation. So that's kind of limiting the rain just immediately behind this bow. But seeing both together, and we know the winds aloft are very strong. That's why Brett sent out that nowcast, and why we're concerned about some wind gusts that could be 70 miles per hour or greater. And so we'll be watching that closely. Now, as far as the tornadic threat, I know about every single area in Ohio, Western Ohio, Indiana, Northern Kentucky, Southeastern Illinois. At this point, Southeastern Illinois, the strongest of the storms have already shifted off to the south and to the east. I'm still not seeing anything that is just screaming tornado. So we'll continue to watch that threat, but nothing really stands out to me for a tornadic risk. But it is interesting as these bows occur, and if we can start to see this really get out ahead of the storms to the north and to the south, this can create situations where you can get some extra spin in the atmosphere, both to the south of this bow and to the north of the bow. And so those will be areas we'll just need to monitor closely. But right now, as far as on velocity, I don't see anything what I'd call significant type of rotation. We may have a few little notches here west of Bloomington, but I mean, that's me looking. I don't see anything that I would say that needs a tornado warning at this moment in time. So that risk continues to remain very, very limited this morning. I know there's a tornado watch, but to me, it's especially at this point, especially without the lightning. To me, that tells me it's going to be especially a wind gust threat.
I agree.
And the hail risk is going to be pretty darn limited.
Yeah, and more back to the kind of your comment a minute ago with needing colder upper levels, colder clouds, the lapse rates being bad. So what a lapse rate is, guys, is just the change in temperature with height. The higher you go up, the temperature drops faster with height.
Right.
It's a decrease in temperature, and it can allow for the ice stone to develop. So I would agree that both with the lack of lightning and that you're probably not looking at any hail at all. Hail and tornado risk in this particular setup, it's not zero, but it's really, really low.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
WTHR just reported there could be a tornado over Carmel. I would
Okay.
respectfully disagree with that sentiment. So no, I don't see the potential tornado.
This?
I don't know.
And I feel like you gotta be fishing. This has got to be what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a pretty marginal, if you ask me, Michael.
Yeah.
I don't know, probably not. If I had to take a guess one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. Tornado over Carmel. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I don't agree, but it's whatever.
Right. Mainstream weather. Just like your mainstream news. There you go again. Spencer just lost power. I think they're kind of in the thick of that really strong area of storms. Michael, I do wonder if they will end up issuing the destructive severe warning.
I think you're gonna have to see a report.
Yeah, that's the problem. There's not like tons of weather observation stations here. In fact, there's not any until probably Bloomington, or I guess the airport.
Yeah.
But looks like the strongest portion is going to be south of the airport and really north of Bloomington. So
yeah,
we'll see. They said Cicero. Well, at this point, the line's already east of Cicero. So,
whatever. Let them say what they want to say.
Sure.
Little notch to watch there, just west of Bloomington. Go to velocity scans there. Little something there, maybe. Little notch-a-rooney action there.
A little notch-a-rooney. We zoom in, see if we can find the notch-a-rooney. Well, I mean, like I said, Michael, that would be the bow is just north of Ellettsville. And so if there's going to be an area, it'd be south of the bow where that little notch is. It's typically the south side of the rear inflow jets that usually get the tornadic potential.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jayster. Have a good one. Hi, me in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, I mean, the storms by Columbus, Ohio do not look just kind of your run-of-the-mill storms at this point. Very heavy rain, concern flash flooding potential in southern Indiana right now. fact, if we just quickly past observed rainfall past 7 days, I mean, you can see the crazy onslaught of rain. I mean, if you look beyond even 7 days, there'd be more rain showing up here. So the fact that we've got the training rain showers and thunderstorms in southern Indiana, probably some flooding ongoing in some of those spots right now. Jasper, I mean, at this point, you just need to be on the lookout for, I think, primarily strong wind gusts. The tornado threat continues to remain there. I know we're in a tornado watch, but with the exception of southeastern Illinois, I have not seen a single tornado warning into Indiana yet. It's primarily going to be a strong wind gust threat with this. Maybe some isolated hail can't be ruled out as well, but wind gusts will be the main thing to watch with this. The tornado threat, in my opinion, is just incredibly low. We don't have tons of instability. It's 8:30 in the morning. It's hard to get a tornado outbreak at 8:30 in the morning with a line of storms. I can't recall a time that's.
I was driving here and I thought to myself, this is weird.
Yeah.
Just the general, but it kind of lines up because, like last night for me, that was the longest tornado on the ground in Indiana I've ever tracked. It's just an anomaly.
Right.
It's just a weird system.
Very weird system.
Yeah. So I think that this kind of lines in with the oddness of it. For sure.
I wonder if that tornado last night kind of spooked the National Weather Service a little bit.
Could be, yeah, for sure,
know.
for sure. I keep playing it safe there a little bit, possibly, but we Indiana, whether it's the NWS or the Storm Prediction Center or neighboring, I don't really know sometimes, but Indiana, we get a lot of tornado watches that I struggle to agree with generally, anyways. A lot of times when watches come out, I would say 75% of the time, I just don't agree with it being tornado. There's a new warning there, Matt, if you want to go just up there in good old, what is that, Grant County? Or click on the warning there. 60-mile-per-hour winds, Madison County and Delaware County. Yeah, and then Henry County and Hamilton County.
All the counties.
56 counties. No.
You can see the hazard, only 60-mile-per-hour wind. So they don't even make a mention of the hail with this.
Yep, no hail at all. And to your comment, Brianne Elliott, tornado sirens do go off during severe thunderstorm warnings under tornado watches. They used to. They did it all the time. So yeah, yes, they do. But maybe in Johnson County, again, they've maybe redone that policy, which would be awesome, by the way. It needs to be redone.
Yeah.
So hopefully kudos to them if they haven't.
I will say the really strong velocities we were getting of 80 miles per hour with the line approaching Bloomington. Looks like we've lost that a little bit, Michael.
Yep. That would be a good thing.
I suspect there's probably some type of issues. It's starting to get out ahead. It's running into the storms out ahead, so we're probably losing a little bit of inflow of the winds from the south that are probably disturbing it a little bit as far as reaching that high end potential for 70, 80 mile per hour wind gust.
Yeah.
At least that's my suspicion with that. But
maybe he's contaminating it a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. But so that's good news for some of you folks. Once again, I continue to look at the velocities out ahead of this, along this line with some of the scattered storms out ahead. I am just not seeing anything that's just catching my eye for that's a tornado. That's a definitive rotation that needs to be tornado warned.
Yeah.
You can make some very loose arguments. Northeast of Indianapolis. I know some of you mentioned towards Carmel. The local guys said possible tornado, but looking at it from a velocity standpoint, I don't see anything that just says that's a slam dunk tornado. In fact, I would venture to guess there's probably just no tornado ongoing at this point. The risk just continues to remain very limited. Wind gusts are going to be the main issue for us today. So I know there's a tornado watch. But in this case, I think it was maybe a little jumped the gun, maybe a little bit from the National Weather Service. I'm not here to dog on them or anything.
No, you just call it how you see it. Ain't that, is what it is.
Yeah.
Ain't no dogging. Just business, baby.
Yeah. North of Lima, Ohio, a new warning has popped up. 60-mile-per-hour winds. They do have 3/4 of an inch hail on this one. (60-mile-per-hour, 3/4 of an inch hail. South of Bloomington, 60-mile-per-hour, 3/4 inch hail. South of this, far southwestern Indiana, approaching Jasper. Again, we've got a special weather statement for 50-mile-per-hour winds. So even a little bit weaker in those spots. And my gut says this probably, as it moves east across central Indiana, we'll probably continue to see severe warnings continue to stack up with the east. The low-level jet's very strong. Winds about 5,000, 10,000 feet, very strong. Although instability isn't great, I would expect the severe warnings can continue to move to the east. Tornado threat looks incredibly limited. Again, still perhaps can't rule out an isolated one, but nothing long-lived, nothing strong. We just don't get that type of tornadoes in this type of setup. So if you're concerned about that, that's just ain't gonna happen this go around. Okay.
I'll be back.
Hello?
Lima. Is it Lima? Lima? You tell me. I have no idea. I pronounce it wrong. You think I pronounced that wrong. You guys should hear me do any forecast I do in Wisconsin because I butcher every single city name in Wisconsin. Still concerned south, southern Indiana, Cincinnati, just the training nature of the storms, how much rain we've gotten for some flash flooding issues that I think will be possible in those spots. I'm going to take a look at the Wilmington radar, see if we have any type of rotation in any of these storms off into western Ohio, and not seeing, again, nothing definitive. If I see something, I'll show us on the velocity, but for right now, nothing of great concern at this moment in time. Bloomington was hit hard by straight line winds a couple years ago. Can this storm produce that? Based off what I see on the latest scans of the velocity, I think that threat that we mentioned of the 70, 80-mile-per-hour winds seems to be a little bit on the decrease. Let me bring that up real quickly. And let's just look together. So again, when we're looking at the velocity for Bloomington itself, right? We're scanning from the Indianapolis radar to Bloomington about 2,700 feet up in the atmosphere. So we're not necessarily measuring at the surface. That's not how our radar works. But the measurements in the strongest parts are near 60. I mean, we've got a few little blips that are 80, but to me, those seem like anomalies for Bloomington itself, a few closer to 60. So probably unlikely we get anything beyond 60, I would say, at this point for Bloomington, as it stands right now. %, WTH. I don't know what you're talking about. They see a ton. Driving to Cincy now, winds are picking up significantly on 74. Yeah, it's going to be probably a rough drive for you, Kayla. Just going to be storming probably all the way to Cincinnati. I don't know where you're driving from. The rain in Martinsville is intense right now. Yeah, so we were kind of talking about the lack of hail and the lack of lightning. And really those 2 points are similar to heavy rain, because if you don't get ice crystals to grow, if you don't get that hail growth, which helps foster the development for lightning as well, the cloud is very warm, and the warmer your cloud is, the more efficient the rain will be. So that's why, like a Florida thunderstorm, the cloud's very warm and it puts down very heavy rain. This is not necessarily a Florida air mass, but warmer than normal for this time of the year. And so the rain, regardless of lightning production or not, will come down hot and heavy. Very low clouds. They likely are. They likely are very low clouds. Oh, Isaiah, I bet you're right. The 40%, the tornado likelihood in the Tor Watch. Yeah. Again, this is we did not put out a tornado watch. That's a National Weather Service product. I still think the risk for tornado continues to remain quite limited. Strong wind gusts are going to be the main issue with these as they move from west to east, in addition to flooding as well. And so I've got one eye glued on the Clarity radar that we're looking at right now. In fact, I'm going to loop this for us just to give us a little bit better sense of how things are progressing. And you can see how things are moving, etc. I've got another screen up, and I'll show it from time to time, of the velocities. So I'm trying to pinpoint if I can see any type of rotation in some of these. If you're asking about any one particular area, once again, the primary risk for severe weather is going to be that of strong wind gusts, 60 miles per hour. If we get some of these bowing segments to occur, wouldn't be shocked if some spots get a little bit locally stronger. We are concerned about that, especially west of Bloomington, based off where we're looking at on velocities. That has since weakened some. Still think there's some strong winds associated with it. But right now, we have yet to have a tornado warning in Indiana or Ohio. I've yet to see something that just sticks out to me that any type of meaningful rotation. So again, the tornado threat this morning continues to remain very low, despite there being obviously an ongoing tornado watch. If you're in southeastern Illinois at this point, the strongest have already shifted off to the east. And if we're going to get a tornado, it's probably going to be along this leading edge as it moves to the east. But again, I don't see anything that's giving me concern right now. Is Indianapolis okay for a tornado? You're probably dealing with some strong wind gusts right now in Indianapolis as a storm is upon you right now. Heavy rain picking up in downtown Bloomington. Yep, the storm is on your doorstep. You probably are going to experience some very gusty winds, depending on where you're at, either right now or soon to be. Is Whitestown okay? Strong wind gust as far as tornadoes concerned. I'm not seeing anything that catches my eye. Franklin is picking it up wind like crazy. Yep. The strongest is yet to get to you for Franklin. So batten down the hatches, so to speak. That'll be in Franklin very soon, probably in the course of the next 15 minutes or so. Randolph County, again, a few stronger wind gusts are going to be possible. Heavy rain, flash flooding, wind gusts are going to be the main issue. My gut says you avoid any type of tornadoes there. Are you okay? I am doing just all right. Warsaw, Kentucky, Tom, I'm not sure where that's at exactly. You can see Kentucky. Let me zoom out real quick. In Kentucky, depending on where you're at, unless it's in the far northern Kentucky, the storms are already north at this point. Greensburg, you just have to watch these storms that are west of Bloomington right now as they move to the east. I think they can continue to have some strong wind gusts. 40 to 60 mile per hour winds will probably be more common for Greensburg. Tornado threat you probably avoid, in my opinion. Very welcome, Ron. Very welcome, Lisa. Bedford. Sometimes my southern Indiana geography is is very poor. These storms off to the west, I think, can still pack a punch. 40 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts. I doubt they get higher than that, and you probably avoid a tornado risk, in my opinion. I continue to watch and scan the velocities, looking for any rotation, just not seeing much really anywhere up and down this line. Work out of elementary school, so freaking out a little. I'm not sure where you're at, but at this point, nothing tornadic wise to be concerned with. But some strong wind gusts are still at play. You can still see we have a severe thunderstorm warning, Anderson, south side of Indianapolis, Bloomington, southern Monroe County towards Bedford. In fact, Bedford, you just got put in a severe thunderstorm warning. 60 mile per hour winds. You have 3/4 inch hail as well. Well, the hail threat looks pretty limited, if you ask me. Greenwood avoiding tornado risks, just strong winds. Highly likely it's just going to be strong winds. What do the yellow boxes mean? That is a severe thunderstorm warning. If we were to see a tornado warning, it would show up as a red box similar to this yellow box. These red outlines, that is the tornado watch, which is still in effect for another 3 hours. But at this point, I just do not see anything impressive from a rotation standpoint with really about any of these storms. So I continue to watch all this very closely. All right, what else we got? What time are we expecting rain to arrive in Hancock County? Where at in Hancock County are you? Looks like it's on your doorstep. Just got severe thunderstorm warning in Shelbyville. Yep, they just issued a new one. 60 mile per hour winds, 0.75 inch hail. Yep, it's the tornado threat, Amanda, looks incredibly low. I don't see anything on the radar that is giving me a giant cause of concern for any type of rotation. If I see something, I'll say something and point it out, but right now just the tornado risk looks incredibly limited. There has yet to be a tornado warning in Indiana or Ohio with this activity. Greensburg, the same. Strong winds, main threat. Yep. Absolutely, Heather. What can Noblesville expect? When could the worst be? The worst for Noblesville's probably already past you at this point. They just gave out the severe thunderstorm warning for Greenfield. Yep, this big one they issued. Keep in mind, this is the area we sent out an outcast in Clarity where we were initially concerned about some wind gusts that could exceed 60 miles per hour. And for a time, I think they could have been for a time. But we've lost a little bit of the higher velocities, which for a time west of Bloomington, we were seeing, 80 mile per hour show up on the velocities. We have since lost that. So I think as far as that high-end wind gust potential south of I-70, you probably do not have that right now. So is Hamilton County done for the day for severe weather? In my opinion, yes. I think the severe threat stays south of Hamilton County this afternoon. Megan, I'm taking a nap when this is over. My storm anxiety cannot deal. Hang in there, Megan. Just got a tornado watch in Sheridan. They probably just adjusted the area for the tornado watch. The strongest of the storms are east of Sheridan at this point. You've got nothing to be concerned with in Sheridan for the morning storms. Any update about the tornado touchdown last night in Knox? I haven't seen much. I just haven't seen much. Westfield, again, Westfield, the heaviest it looks like it's passed yet. It's more the eastern part of Hamilton County at this point. Line storms on I-69. What does the rest of the day look like behind this current line of storms on I-69? Probably going to have more rain and storms. I don't know where at you are on I-69, but we take a look at the future radar. This is the model we used this morning to go over the progression. And you can see as the storms move off to the east as we head throughout the morning, this is as we get towards 11 a.m., we still have some showers kind of hanging around. And there can be some additional storms this afternoon. I think as far as the severe threat is concerned, the best instability is going to be especially south of Monroe County towards the Ohio River in Indiana, southern Illinois, and then you can see stretching towards Cincinnati, east of Columbus towards Zanesville. It's the southern edge where the instability is. I think that's where the better severe threat will be. And you can see the additional storms there. Now, there can be some storms towards I-70. To be honest, I'm quite suspect that they're going to be strong to severe in nature. But southern Indiana, southern Ohio, Kentucky, that's where the better threat for strong to severe storms will be getting into the afternoon. Can't rule out an isolated tornado, but again, I don't think we're talking about a tornado outbreak. Primarily wind gusts, and I'd say hail as a main risk with that heading into the afternoon. So hope that answers your question. In fact, I'm not sure I've shown this map. Brett Waltz made a severe map this morning talking about the overall severe risk. And you can see, especially for the afternoon threat, primarily along and south and east of this red line, where the better severe risk will be heading into the afternoon. Let alone flash flooding. This as well. I think this is a risk. And again, it's just not going to take a whole lot of rain in this instance. These will have hefty rainfall rates with this, and we've gotten tons of rain recently, and so it just won't take much to cause some flooding issues. But especially, Seymour to Cincinnati, Hamilton, southwestern Ohio, just given the nature of this rain, we've gotten tons of rain in some of these spots as well the last 7 to 10 days. Some flooding issues there I'm concerned about. Raining sideways on my work, Greenwood, 31 county line. I'm hearing rain just now beginning to hit the roof at our office in Greenwood. So right on time. Edinburgh floods easy too. Yes, it does. I know you guys had some nasty flooding issues down by Edinburgh and Columbus. Some nasty river flooding for sure. Just winds at the moment. So the winds will be followed by some rain. So it's a matter of time for the rain to come. Is it okay to go to Indianapolis around 4 tonight? Is it going to get bad around there? I think some general thunderstorms. My gut says severe weather stays well south of Indianapolis this afternoon. Get a boat to come and get me at this point. All the rain. How will these storms move in Columbus? Columbus, Indiana. Well, I expect there to be some strong wind gusts, up to 60 miles per hour. Tornado threat, again, just looks incredibly low for any one particular area. I still do not see anything that just catches the eye of, hey, that's a tornado. The rotation's been rather lackluster in all of these storms. I know there's a tornado watch, and I still can't rule out an embedded tornado, but at this point, the risk is just incredibly low. And we haven't seen a tornado warning anywhere in Indiana or Ohio yet. So we'll be watching all that closely. New severe thunderstorm warning for Muncie, 60 mile per hour winds, 3/4 inch hail. Special weather statement north of Evansville, 50 mile per hour wind gust. So still packing a punch. Very welcome. Tipton, Indiana, thundering and lightning. Yep. Tipton in particular, it's the heaviest has gone east of you. When will this be over, Whiteland, Greenwood area? I mean, you're kind of in the thick of it now. I probably in the next roughly 10 minutes, the heaviest will shift east of you, lingering showers through the morning. Winds to the north, winds to the east, winds to the north, winds. I don't know what you mean by that. Mesoscale discussion for Eastern Indiana and Western Ohio. Can you please explain that a little? Well, let's take a look. We can look together at that. Can actually bring this up on Clarity. So here's for, if you're not a meteorologist and you were to read this mesoscale discussion, you probably have no idea how to even interpret this. Basically, what they're saying is they may extend the tornado watch a little bit further to the east. Sufficient for some tornado threat, especially if any discrete storms can mature ahead or along the primary line. So they may expand the tornado watch east with this, but to be honest, the threat continues to remain like it's been in Indiana, really in Illinois as well, where the threat's been rather meager. I suppose if for Ohio further east, the timing of the day gets a little bit more favorable of these storms as we head later into the morning. For a little bit of instability that could build out ahead, but there's not a tremendous amount. There is actually some instability that is trying to build out ahead of this line, and so at least you'll have that going into Ohio for perhaps a little bit of a better threat along this leading edge, and that a lot of that's because of the timing. Again, it's 9 a.m. in the morning. It's going to be awfully tough to get a robust tornado threat at 9 a.m. And to be honest, it can be pretty difficult at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. as well. Typically, for any type of good tornado threat, you really want those to be in the afternoon to the evening. Okay, taking off the discussion for now. I would not be shocked though if they issue the tornado watch further to the east. But again, the threat continues to remain quite limited, in my opinion, even into Ohio. A little bit more juice out ahead. So the severe threat, regardless, strong wind gusts, I think certainly continue east this morning. It's hitting Franklin now. Indeed, it's on you. Quit spamming the chat, clown shoes. Okay. I live slightly south of I-70 in central Indy. The storm was like nothing. LOL, a little gusty. Thunder about 4 times. Yeah. Still severe warned all up and down this line. I'm just going to check, see if we've got anything on velocities, see if there's any rotation I can kind of point out. If I see something, I'll bring the velocities into the screen for us, and we can take a look together. But again, nothing overly striking at this point. Now, can there still be a tornado that can flare up along this leading edge? Yes, there can be. But again, the threat's been very low. I expect it to continue to remain very low. I do not expect any strong tornado. I do not expect any long-lived tornado. Wind gusts are going to be the main deal. Definitely some hail rain right now in Mercer County, Ohio. Okay, so we've got some hail in Ohio, some of these storms. Yo, Matt, is it safe to travel from Indianapolis to Chicago by car starting at 10 a.m.? I say go for it. You'll just have some rain to drive through. You'll be fine. What is the severity threat with the storm coming to downtown Indy at about 1 to 2 p.m.? 35 mile per hour winds, maybe up to 40, but I think as far as severe, don't think so. That what I said may even be stretching a little bit. Just think the severe stays south of Indy this afternoon. At 1 to 2 p.m., it's probably the better storm threat's probably south still at that point as well. So if you're in Indy at that point, I think you're good. Columbus, Indiana. Again, a lot of you have been asking about Columbus. This line of showers and storms moves east, wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. That'll be the main ticket. In fact, depends on where you're at in Columbus. North side of Columbus is in a severe thunderstorm warning. South side is not, at least yet. I imagine probably eventually get into one. Five minutes south of downtown Indy. Yep. Columbus is getting rough. Yep, I'm sure it is. We've got some of the storms that sparked out ahead of Columbus. They don't look particularly too nasty. It's especially this line of storms that's really packing the punch. Have yet to maybe a special weather statement. It's what the National Weather Service does if it's below severe criteria, but still something worth notable. I've seen maybe one special weather statement from the National Weather Service. Some of those storms right now, as far as severe, that's if you're in this area, the storms out ahead, southeastern Indiana and Cincinnati. You know, my especially one concern with some of these storms. I think the storms back off to the west can still pack a punch as they move to the east. This is primarily the wind gust threat, but the flooding issues, given how much rain we've had. Are we getting hail in Indianapolis? The heaviest of the rain and storms already shifted off to the east. So in addition, throughout the day today, unlikely. Looks like stuff over Lake Erie is starting to move inland. It should be. Some concern about some flash flooding there along northeast Ohio coast near Lake Erie. Nothing of concern as far as severe at this point for those storms. Do you stream anywhere else other than Facebook? Should be on Twitter and YouTube right now. Raining pretty bad in Oxford. How tired are you after following last night? Well, last night it wasn't me. I know Michael got on the live stream for a little bit. John Kemper, he does some of the streams as well. So he tackled that last night. So I got some rest. I was paying attention about as long as I could until I couldn't keep my eyes open. Have any expectations Northern West Virginia, Clarkstown, Fairmount, Morgantown area? Bloomington okay now? Yes, the heaviest of the storms have shifted east of Bloomington. You are in the clear. How's Carlos, Indiana, Randolph County looking? Randolph County is somewhere up here, right? If you're ahead of these storms, some strong wind gusts, that's going to be your main concern. Wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour. Again, I don't see anything from a radar perspective that's screaming rotation and a tornado for about any one particular area. Checking in with my team here real quick. See, what is this? Hendricks County, train resorts, thunderstorm wind damage. So seeing some wind damage reports in Hendricks County from some winds. Okay. The worst past Bloomington for the day, my gut says yes. I think the better severe risk stays south of Bloomington this afternoon. Carlos is below Winchester. Yeah, so you've got some strong wind gusts heading your way, probably the next, 20 minutes or so. Definitely not 60-mile-per-hour winds, just some rain and a little rumble of thunder. If you were to get any 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, it probably would have already been past Jackson. So let's call it 40 to 60. How about that? We can compromise. So what time will the afternoon storms be in Indy Greenwood? My clarity is set up for a different location, so I can't see it. For starters, you can always change your location in the app. But if we take a look at the future radar for the Indianapolis area, at least the future radar we liked, we get towards about 2 to 3 p.m. for some storms. The problem here, and I'm going to bring this up because a lot of you have been asking about at the afternoon. Now this has gotten past a lot of you folks. Bring up the instability. So here's the issue, right? As we get into the afternoon, I've got instability on the right. I've got the future radar on the left-hand side. Notice where the higher values are. 800 plus 1,000. It's southeastern Indiana. It's eastern Kentucky. It's southern Ohio. This is as we get to 4 p.m. Eastern. Really not a whole lot towards Indianapolis. That doesn't mean we can't get storms, but as far as a severe threat, you really need a little bit more instability than that. So probably avoid the severe weather there. All right, back to the radar. Strong wind gusts. Again, no tornado warning in Indiana, no tornado warning so far in Ohio. They may expand the tornado watch east a little bit. They'll likely be doing that out of abundance of caution. There is a little bit of instability that can build out ahead of this, and I still have yet to see anything pressing from a rotation standpoint. I know there's still a tornado watch in place. They've actually just dropped the tornado watch for some of these northwestern counties in Indiana. We'll probably continue to drop these over the next couple hours. Noblesville on a tornado watch. Should I prepare? The heaviest has already gone east of Noblesville. You are good to go. Anytime, Tori. Yeah, if you didn't know how to change that, your name's who made that custom 3D printing. It's pretty simple. There's a pencil icon in the top right-hand corner of the app. You can click on that, and you can change your location from there. It should be pretty self-explanatory. If you can't figure that out, let me know. I can quickly walk you through how to do that. Tornado sirens going off in Greenwood. I don't hear anything. I'm in Greenwood. I may not be able to hear it in my office, but for Greenwood, it's just a severe thunderstorm warning. In fact, the heaviest is already well east of Greenwood. It's more into Shelby County, towards Shelbyville, for the severe thunderstorm warning at this point. All right. Highland County, Ohio, and scared to death of tornadoes. Please tell me what threat level I'm in. Very low on a scale 1 to 5, a 1. No, that's a fire truck. LOL. It could be. I don't know. I don't hear anything. Typically, I feel like I can normally hear sirens when they go off, but I do not hear any sirens, and I'm in Greenwood right now. Appreciate that, Heather. Anytime, of course. Callie, it may have been a fire truck. I mean, it may just be that. We have a tornado warning. Tornado warning just got issued. Approaching Portland. Let's take a look here. I got it, Brett. Well, this is going to be likely, let me click on this, I assume radar indicated. Let's bring in the velocity for us, shall we? And if you guys recalled when we were looking at some of the velocity earlier, we really want the couplets, right? The couplets. And it looks to be in this little area right in my circle where there's a little bit of a couplet. But I'll be honest, it does not look incredibly definitive for rotation. This, in my opinion, would not be something that's long track or very strong. You know, I would play if you're in the tornado warning in northeastern Indiana towards Portland. I would not play around. Seek shelter. There's at least some hints of some rotation, but it does not look overly strong, in my opinion. No point. Just play it safe. Seek shelter. Radar indicated only, by the way. If this were to be a confirmed tornado, it would show up as a purple color in clarity. Ask my team what the speed is. Maybe time that out a little bit. Can't say I'm super impressed with the rotation, but again. This would be approaching areas. You can see Portland, Salina, Coldwater, Ohio, Fort Recovery. The winds in Franklin blew my whole grill with propane tank across my porch. Can you explain? That's a great question. Can you explain what triggers a touchdown for a tornado? To me, like I'm 9. I mean, a tornado. What triggers a tornado touchdown? I mean, it's so the tornado is simply just the updraft of the storm that's spinning, and so whenever that updraft gets down to the surface, is when the tornado is touched down. Typically, you just want a general spin in the atmosphere, and then oftentimes what helps is the rain, cooled air wrapping around the storm will help reorient the spin in the atmosphere to be more up and down. And so that's when it happens. I hope that's a good 9-year-old explanation. My team's telling me maybe a little bit of rotation by Shelbyville. Let's bring the rotation back on the screen. You can see by Shelbyville, again, these little inflow notches. I discussed this if you've been on the stream for a while with some of the storms that were by Terre Haute. We had some of these notches in the flow on the radar. If we look at the velocity, I'm going to bring this up for us. This radar program is a bit glitchy, I will say. Pretty broad areas of rotation, right? Looks pretty broad, but something to watch out for. Does it look super definitive to me? Okay, moving this out of the screen for now. I'll continue to keep an eye on that, see if it gets any more impressive. Still not overly impressive, in my opinion. I'm gonna bring up the radar again. That's having all types of glitches with my radar software. Nothing, in my opinion, that would warrant a tornado warning at this point. as far as the Shelbyville rotation, just some broad rotation. Again, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning east of Indianapolis, 60-mile-per-hour winds, 0.75-inch hail. Severe thunderstorm warning northeastern Indiana, just east of Muncie, approaching Richmond. And we have this tornado warning rotation. I'll be honest, doesn't look super impressive to me. I believe the team said they got this moving about 62 miles per hour. That would be incredibly fast. Confirming with them that's the speed. We can go over kind of a general timing for that tornado warning cell. Although again, I don't suspect that any type of rotation would last very long. It's not one of those type of setups. Use the Northern Indiana radar. I'm on the Northern Indiana radar on my other program. Looks tighter. I mean, there's definitely some type of rotation there, but I question if it warrants a tornado warning. Regardless, if you're in the tornado warned area, it wouldn't mess around with it. Seek shelter towards Portland on your doorsteps. In fact, again, it's moving about 62 miles per hour, my team's telling me. So in about a half an hour, it's to about here. In about an hour, it's about here. Okay, to get a general sense of timing with that particular cell. $60-mile-per-hour winds, 3/4-inch hail towards Winchester. The one and only so far tornado warning in Indiana, up by Portland. Elsewhere, we have not seen one. Heavy rain still into Ohio. It's been storming for a while in southwestern Ohio. Hopefully, the flooding's not overly robust. Got a special weather statement out ahead. 50-mile-per-hour winds into northwestern Ohio as well, towards Findlay. They went ahead and severe warned that storm with the tornado warning into northwestern Ohio. 60-mile-per-hour winds, 0.75-inch hail. We'll probably get rid of these tornado watches very shortly towards Marion, Indianapolis. Heaviest is to the east. Richmond, Indiana, yeah, I mean, it probably continues to barrel on through. Wind gusts 40 to 60 miles per hour. It's on your doorstep. Probably over the next 20 minutes or so, it moves into your area. Still think, is there a tornado risk? Still can't rule one out. We do have a tornado warning towards Portland. But at this point, the risk just continues to remain very low. Do see an interesting area. I'm going to bring up my radar once again, if I can. Having some glitches. But as far as rotation is concerned, watch this little area right here, south of Carthage. A few pockets perhaps embedded within there. And then east of Carthage, some rotation. And you can see on the radar, if we go back to just the reflectivity, we've got these little notches, right? So that these could be signs that we have some rotation. We'd like to see something a little bit more definitive in terms of a tornado warning or not, but these would be areas to keep an eye out for. This one looks a little bit more broad. This one looks potentially it'd be a very tight, probably a small tornado if there is one there. You can see that inflow notch just south of Spiceland. Approaching Louisville, Cambridge City. Is there a tornado warning for J. Wells County? Is that by Portland? This is the only tornado warning I see in the Ohio Valley. And keep in mind, this stream, I'm just focusing on this kind of ongoing tornado threat. I realize some of you may be watching further to the south. There is a tornado warning south of Shreveport. Southwestern Pennsylvania. I mean, somebody asked about that. I quickly go into that. What to expect through the day today. I'm going to use this model we liked this morning. I don't know where you're at in southwestern Pennsylvania. If you're towards Pittsburgh, especially as we get into the early afternoon, this area of storms that we see into approaching the Indiana-Ohio border continues to shift east. So that would be the first initial threat. And then scattered storms through the afternoon, especially if you're in the far southwestern Pennsylvania, a little bit better threat for strong to severe storms. Isolated tornado, wind gust, and hail will be the main threat and flash flooding issues. I'm 2 counties over, Sydney, Ohio. Man, that's scary. Hope everyone in Jay County is safe. Yes, I mean, into Ohio, as this line moves east, just like into Indiana, you need to watch out for a lone risk for some rotation with these. That continues to remain a risk, but tornado outbreak is unlikely. I'm in Ross, Ohio. My creek is about to flood. Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Plastic candy. Boring is good. Okay. I go to Ball State Muncie. Should I go to class? You should always go to class. Of course. Yeah, heaviest is to your east. I wouldn't worry about it. May I please ask someone if there is a watch still in effect for me in Johnson County, Indianapolis, Indiana? Technically, there is still a tornado watch, but there is no tornado risk for you, Daniel. So it's still valid. The National Weather Service just has to deactivate it. So. Still watching some of these storms east of Shelby County, Rush County. So interesting look on the radar. Some of these inflow notches. Keeping a very close eye on that. Yikes. This is Tri-West Middle School in Liston. Some type of structure down. Can't tell exactly what it is. Roof? Part of the roof? Gosh. Nasty. Storms are packing a punch. Primarily winds. Is the worst over for Indianapolis? Yes, the worst is over for Indianapolis. Will this blob over Dayton affect the incoming line? To a degree. I mean, so far, like especially so if you look by like Greensburg, Indiana, it still continues to have packed a punch. It may limit it to some degree. May not be as robust as it is in Indiana. Let's just say that. 40 to 60, probably closer to 40 if I had to take a stab at it for Dayton. Is the worst over for Franklin? Yes, worst is over for Franklin. Looking really nasty in Carlos, Indiana, Randolph County. Yes, the storm's out ahead. Looks like we've dropped the tornado warning to the east. Probably need some type of at least severe thunderstorm warning east of Portland at this point. Okay, let's see. We are in a tornado watch in Bedford. Is there a chance for a tornado here? For Bedford? Unless you're out ahead of these storms. No, I mean, the worst is already past you. You're done. No tornado risk. Keep in mind, it'll take the National Weather Service a little bit of time. You can see where this leading edge of the storms are right now. Notice how there's still tornado watches towards, say, like Bloomington, Indianapolis, Marion. So give the National Weather Service a little bit of time, and they'll start to slowly get rid of those tornado watches there. But technically, you're still in a tornado watch, but no tornado risk. He doesn't realize Ball State is in Jay County. Okay. Overturned semi I-65 Johnson County. Yeah, I would not be surprised. Stay in your shelter, Ryan Hull. Wouldn't say that this guy is a rookie. Stay in your shelter, Ryan Hull would say that this guy is a rookie. Okay. So it's false. Ball State is in Delaware County, by the way, so that guy's a real genius. Danville, West Indianapolis threats east of you at this point. Bedford, Indiana, done. We didn't really get anything so far. Yep. I mean, the strongest of the storms were primarily to your north. The heaviest of the storms are to your east right now, so you're good to go. Oh, thanks, Jason. Appreciate you. Little love-hate relationship from you. Ball State is in Muncie. Thank you, Peyton. You betcha. I'm in Rush County. We had a 70-mile-per-hour straight line that came across with heavy rain. Okay. Those, as far as the storms still in Indiana, those are probably some of the most interesting ones, just given what I see on velocity and some of these inflow notches. But in terms of anything defined for a tornado, just I've yet to see it. I was even not super impressed with that one by Portland, to be quite honest. Just joined for Richmond. Some strong storms off to your west. Tornado threats incredibly low. More of a straight line wind deal, 40 to 60 miles per hour. Oh, Mighty Space Ghost, I appreciate you. I'm not too worried about them. Not too worried about them at all. Got pretty windy in Carthage. Minimal lightning and thunder. Just light rain now. I would say gust over 40 as the line moved through. Seems about right. Guys, I've been live for about 2 hours and 45 minutes. Is there a tornado present in Jay County? They have dropped the tornado warning in Jay County. I don't see anything as far as confirmed, so probably not a tornado. Storms appear to be moving east-northeast. Has Cincinnati lost the threat? Gosh, I'll tell you, with the way this looks and how messy it looks on the radar, I mean, the threat of you getting a tornado is incredibly low, in my opinion. I think you avoid it. Anderson, heaviest is to your east. No threat, no worries about it. Curious about Columbus. The heaviest of the rain is on you now. It's about ready to shift east. No tornado threat at this point, in my opinion. Jason, I need one, man. I need some coffee at this point, for sure. With how unimpressive this looks for the moment, I'm going to hop off this stream. If we see things start to take a turn for the worst, we will hop back on. But at this point, it's just some straight line winds. I'm not impressed with any type of rotation at this point in time. Just real quickly, for some of you folks in the Northwestern Ohio, where there's at least some type of rotation is with this storm that did produce a tornado warning in Portland. It is moving rather fast, about 60 miles per hour. So this would be just, in my opinion, one of the areas to watch as you move east. Salina points off to the north and to the east. Again, 60 miles per hour, just real quickly for us. I could go through some timing for us real quick before I hop off the stream. Again, you can see the rotation. Not very definitive. I mean, there's at least some. 60 miles per hour, so 30 minutes, it puts it right about here to, I'm going to try my best. Wapakoneta? Probably butchered that one. And then in about an hour, it would be right about here towards Kenton. So, my opinion, that would be the one to watch. Dayton, real quick, I'm going to answer some questions before I get off here. Dayton just looks rainy and stormy. Still think we need to watch these storms off to the west for some straight line winds, 40 to 60 miles per hour, but I would say the tornado threat's pretty minimal, just based off how everything's played out so far. The tornadoes have just been lackluster, to say the least. We'll see what type of reports. There's been at least one tornado warning, but rather non-existent at this point. Real quick, before I let us go, I do want to show us, this is a new nowcast we're putting out on the Clarity platform. Just going over some timing for some of you folks into Ohio. You can see this main line timing, so to speak. 10:30, 11:30, 12:30 across Ohio. Isolated tornado can't be ruled out. Wind gusts to 60 miles per hour are going to be the main risk with this. And then we just have some sloppy storms out ahead of that in the blue dashed area. Some heavy rain. Would be concerned with some flash flooding risk there as well. Yep, if it goes sideways, we'll hop back on. I'm at least going to take, as Jason would say, a little bit of coffee break at the very least. But we'll be keeping a close eye on things. If you are on Clarity, obviously we'll continue to have nowcasts like this. If you have the ability to message us, reach out in the chat. We'd be happy to help answer those questions. But if you don't, be on the lookout for those nowcasts. And if stuff hits the fan, we'll be back on. But given how things have played out, I'm doubtful. So. Appreciate you can't dance. Yeah, just try to tell you how it is. I'm not trying to hype anything up or downplay anything, just telling you how it is. So I appreciate everyone for joining us today. If we don't hear from you again, have a great rest of your day and stay safe. And I'm sure there'll be another opportunity through March that will be on here. So have a good one, guys.